Oh, good morning, Ernest. And good morning, Mina.
Good morning, Steven. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining in. We do appreciate you taking our time to be here. So we're just going to give a little bit of minutes for others to join before we start. So before then, I'm just going to play a clip for us so we can just get to understand the concept of what we are here to discuss about security of business. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, and I'll be with you in Jiffy. So you see the video shortly.
Sheep never realize there's a wolf around until it's too late. And they do exactly what the wolf expects them to do. They run into each other, they fall down, they become dinner. Time to eat. They've got no idea I use my phone to hack the OS on that printer over there. And why would they? Not one printer in this place has built-in malware protection. Now, while they're all busy watching a little something I threw up on the control panel,
Just look at your screen.
I can intercept all their print jobs until I find the info I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, today's somebody's birthday. Perfect. The really good stuff is upstairs. The kind of stuff that could destroy any future this grand financial institution could hope to have. I love a good office party. Everyone looks so happy.
Happy birthday.
Especially Janice. I thought everybody would forget her birthday. Not me. Look, Janice, just got an email. What's that? A gift certificate from your favorite spa to honor the big day? How thoughtful. Now all you gotta do is print it. Come on, Janice. It's legit. You just gotta print it out. Come on. We all know you love a good foot rub. That's it. Now I have access to every computer on the network. How, you ask? Well, none of the printers here automatically monitor for threats, so that gift certificate I just sent Janice to print was actually hiding my malware in the print stream, bypassing the company's security. Which means now I can use the printer to get around the firewall and, surprise, access all the unencrypted data and route it to myself. I know it's a mouthful, but it's actually really simple. Because these guys don't automate their security monitoring, not only can I see every document that gets printed in this place, I can see all the good stuff hiding on their computers, too. Now it's a party. Tomorrow's a big day for this place. Looks like they've got a presentation to their most important client about a confidential private stock offering. Sure hope everybody's getting a good night's sleep. They are gonna need it. It's funny how much stuff people leave in the office, huh? It's like they want me to take their personal information. I'm Mr. Vice President of blah, 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 and my life is ruined. These folks have no idea that when they come to work in the morning, I not only have helped myself to their personal identities, but I've gotten hold of their clients' most sensitive financial information. The ironic thing is these guys probably spent a fortune securing their network and their servers. But because no one bothered to arm any of these PCs with the BIOS defense system, my malware is free to do its thing. Oh! And that's what I call a metaphor. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot riding on this meeting. You might even say the future of both companies. I had some huge elaborate plan to worm my way into the video conference, but turns out I didn't have to. See this dude over my shoulder here? Guy who looks like he's about to wet his pants? Well, he was so nervous, he forgot to pick up the key part of the presentation right off the printer. So now, it's just sitting here, waiting for anybody with an axe to grind to pick it up and share it with someone like me. Because this bad boy doesn't have user authentication, it's easy for print jobs like these to go unclaimed. Bingo. First, I got control of their printers. Then, I got control of their network. Then, I got control of their data. And now, this. All the juicy details of a major acquisition. And see whether I wanted to keep it quiet. Along with everything else I've stolen from this place, these guys are in for a really bad day. Truth is, I don't really have anything against them. And they seem like perfectly nice people. But that's beside the point. Why am I exposing one of the financial world's most important secrets? Because I can. And who knows? Maybe next time I'll come after yours.
Hello, everybody. A very beautiful morning to you. Welcome to the CYSED Cybersecurity Workshop for Business Owners. It's really a pleasure to have you here, and it's an honor for me to usher you through this event. Before I say any other thing, did you realize that you could hack a whole enterprise that has, or rather, you could bring a whole enterprise that has all these sophisticated defense measures put in place? You could bring them down with a printer or a smart TV. And that is possible because they are not aware of their attack surface. An attack surface is any point that a threat actor could use to gain unauthorized access into your environment. We'll learn about it. We'll learn more about it today. But I want to welcome each and every one of you here. It's a really beautiful morning, I believe, for all of us. And I am Ifunaya Onyeka. You can call me the billionaire nerd. Don't worry, the billionaire part is a work in progress. This workshop has been tailored to ensure that everyone leaves here with actionable cybersecurity steps to protect your small, medium, or enterprise business. So, again, welcome to the CYSED Cybersecurity Workshop for Business Owners. So please clap. You should clap for this event because the organizers has a lot in plan for us today. Like they really went above and beyond. Before I call on the organizer to tell us more about CYSED and tell us about our expectations for today's event, please say hi in the comment section and tell us where you're joining from. You know, we're also going to be networking today. It's one of the goals for today's event. So tell us where you're joining from and say hi to each other in the comment section. Hi, I'm Ifunaya. I'm speaking from Nigeria. You guys don't want to tell me where you're where you're joining from. Aha. Hi, Joseph.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
I'm joining from
you can just put it in the comment section in the chat.
Hi, Ifunaya, we can hear you. Kindly unmute your mic. You're kindly muted. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I was saying hi to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And we can just get started with the event for today. And I would like to welcome the Technical Director for the Cybersecurity Education Initiative, Oluwatobi Ayodele. Please a round of applause for him.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing this morning, Toby?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing, Ifunaya?
I'm great as well.
It's great to be here. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming to the cybersecurity workshop. So this is in line with the month of October, which happens to be the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And in line with our own campaign at CYSED, we deem it fit to um, provide this avenue to educate business owners about how to stay safe online. You know, given the current threat landscape, we've noticed that most SME are being targeted. You know, over from 2020 to somewhat around 2023, 2022 as well, Nigeria has experienced what we call an hyper digitalization, whereby markets, women, businesses have to now do their business online. I remember COVID-19, everyone doing business online. And now we have the cash scarcity, whereby even people selling tomatoes have to have an OP account or a money point account or something. All right, so that's why we deem it fit to actually bring this at the new year to educate people about, or rather, business owners and SMEs about how to stay safe online. So, just a little brief about what CYSED is all about. So, we are a youth-led organization, it's a non-profit. So, we're dedicated to advancing cybersecurity, especially in Africa, right? So we tend to find an innovative way to advance cybersecurity through capacity development, through cybersecurity awareness, through workshop, hackathons, name it. So whichever way we can educate people, because we believe education is key in this our current day and age. All right, so that's what we are going to be needing to actually allow people to know what are those things that they should be looking out for. All right, so that's why we're having this workshop here today for our SMEs. And I really look forward to should I say, participation, because we have a whole lot of speakers lined up here to actually give you the needed knowledge you're going to be needing, renowned experts in cybersecurity that will guide us through this workshop, will give us the needed knowledge we need to actually scale. All right, so our objective here is just to make sure that businesses are safe online, and they are aware of what is out there, what is against them, because most things the what the attackers capitalize on basically is based on ignorance. All right, so we're just trying to make sure that we raise the awareness among SME owners, and we equip SMEs with the practical knowledge they'll be using to establish a robust security measures and should I say culture in their organization, and also to facilitate network and knowledge sharing. Like Ifunaya said, this is going to be an avenue for you to meet different persons, meet different people. All right, so we look forward to networking with a whole lot of persons here, and also want to empower the SMEs and the business owners to like take proactive steps to protecting their digital assets. You saw the clip we just finished watching where it was just a printer that was used to take down a whole conglomerate. All right, so some of those, it might not be a printer for some of the business owners here today. It might just be simply a 2FA, an expired password, or something different. Okay, so that's what we're just here to do to ensure that everyone has the needed knowledge. So thank you very much, Ifunaya, for this. And another highlight for the workshop is just to understand, we want to understand what the cyber threat landscape is all about and the best practices, what are those policies and governance compliance stuff you should take note of. All right. And also, we're going to be doing a simulation exercise. So please, it's a power packed workshop, and please hang on to the very end so you can get the benefits. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. We really do appreciate you. And thank you very much. Ifuna, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toby. So you guys heard what he said. We are eating good today. Like, I mean, the plans, the speakers, the workshop. Nah, we are eating good today. And let's get right into it. We have here with us our keynote speaker. Um, our keynote speaker understands how cybersecurity fits into the greater need of the enterprise. He has specialization in not just the different domains of cybersecurity, but also project management and business. So he understands how cybersecurity fits the business needs. He's passionate about educating people on cybersecurity attacks. And today he'll be giving us an overview into the cyber threats facing SMEs and ways to improve the security postures of the SMEs. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking on the topic, the current threat landscape, please give a round of applause for our keynote speaker, Samuel Modupe from ISE2 Nigeria chapter. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear and see me. I'm sorry, I am
Yes,
seems to
you
be bad.
can.
Yes, okay.
Good morning.
I'm delighted to be here. I really appreciate the invite and the partnership. Okay, I want to share my screen. I seem not to be able to share my screen. I don't know if it needs to be.
You can go ahead
Okay,
now.
yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. My name is Samuel, as mentioned earlier. So, just to give us a keynote address on the topic, help us link businesses, our business aspirations, also with the rising threat landscape. So, as introduced, I'm the executive treasurer of IC Square Nigeria chapter, which is a global body of cybersecurity professionals. I'm a senior cybersecurity engineer with about 10 years in the industry. And my area of specialty include cloud security, network security, system, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. I hold some gold level certifications, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay, so for this keynote address, I would give us an introduction of what SME is, looking at some statistics as to the great contribution your business makes to the economy. And they are very important when it comes to the economy of Nigeria, even globally. I'll look at your goals and how we can tie it with the emerging threats that are there, and how you can stay safe while meeting your goal. Now, according to CBN categorizes SMEs, small and medium-sized businesses, as businesses that have assets within 5 million to 500 million and a labor force of 11 to 300 people. And that's what they classify as SMEs. And even much more lately, you have what they call MSMEs, micro, small, and medium-sized businesses, just to be able to fit in the key that whether you're in one-man business, whether you're in two-man business, three-man business, 10, 11, 15, whether your capital base is less than 1 million, you're able to fit into that category. And World Bank says that 90% of the businesses globally, 90%, means that okay, I don't know if it's coming from my end.
Sorry about
Okay,
that. Yeah.
yes. I remember that song. Yeah, okay. So 90% of businesses 90% of businesses are actually SME. So when you put 10 people or 10 business owners or 10 uh, people together or 10 employees together, you would see that 9 out of 10 of them are SMEs. That's to tell you how widely spread SMEs are. And 50% of employment worldwide are actually SMEs. And there's a SME development agencies, SME that says that actually 96.7% of businesses in Nigeria are SMEs, and 87% of employment come from SMEs. And when you talk about the GDP, in terms of the economy, you contribute almost 50% of the economy. So you are actually a major stakeholder when it comes to the economy, when it comes to employment. So, and there are many statistics to say that. But there's a statistic that is shocking, which in this part of the world calls for concern. They said 80% of businesses in Africa fail within 5 years. And there are so many things that cause that. We will check them and we will now see why um, businesses have a high chances of failure in the post-COVID era. Okay, so these statistics prove that SMEs, though met with threats, are the engine that pushes the economy. They are the engine that pushes the economy. Now, what are the goals of SMEs? Now, for each and every one of you, whether you're doing fashion designing, you do import and exportation, you sell, you're a tailor, whatever form of business you do, the goal is to meet your customer needs. The reason why you are in business is to meet the customer needs. And so that's your first goal. Then the second is to make money. There's nobody here that is going into business just for the passion of it. It's to be able to earn a living, to be able to make money, be able to pay for their bills, and be able to make substantial profit after taking tax, levies, and every other thing, and making substantial profit. That's the goal for your business, and that's a goal. And you desire that that business will grow to become what they call a unicorn. A unicorn is a business that has grown to become so highly valuable that even the economists call it that is a company that's crossed the 1 billion USD mark. So it's a possibility that your business can go that large. Whatever business you're doing, it can grow to become so valuable, so trusted, and with such reputation that people would want to do businesses with you. And from the last times I checked, 4 out of the 7 unicorns in Africa, big businesses in Africa, actually from Nigeria. So it means that within this same economy that a lot of people complain about, within the same economy that there are so many things pushing you out there uh, to strive and to make profit. You can also have businesses which will actually become so valuable, even though most of them are within the tech space. But you can also, within the agricultural space, within the educational space, grow to become a unicorn. And as one of the founders of the 2 unicorns there says that every unicorn started from corn. So you have that possibility. You have that possibility of growing from your small humble beginnings to become a very large enterprise. And I know every one of you would want in your lifetime to be able to start a business and see it mature, not just breaking even, but also being able to become a brand that is worthy of note. So you desire to grow over the years and to become such a valuable brand. But in as much as you want to grow, when it comes to speed, you getting to your goal, you also need to look at safety. Like in every society, you get you whether you are driving, whether it's a bike, a keke, whatever means of transportation, you want to get to your destination as soon as you can. You get if you are living in Lagos, traffic can be something else. But wherever you are, whether from Borno, Makurdi, you want to get to your destination at the shortest possible time. But in as much as you want to get there, you also need to ensure that you get there safely. And that's why you have all these traffic measures, safety measures, putting your seat belt, you have road bumps, just to be able to ensure that you get your destination in one piece. You get your destination without making so many losses or having an accident. So, in as much as you desire to meet your business objective, in as much as you desire to make more money to meet your customers' needs, you also want to ensure that you are doing it safely. You are not a victim of losses. You want to reduce your loss to the various minimum. And I like to use this illustration as an example. For some of you, you know it. For some of you, you don't know it. But this is the Formula One race. And when you talk about Formula One race, the goal is to the first person that hits the crossing line. So you are timed within a various number of laps, and you are to run as much as you can to be able to beat the competition. Each and every one of you are in one competition or the other. Whether you are in fashion, whether you are in education, you have competitors, and you want to ensure that you'll be the first person to meet the customer need. You want to be the first person to make as much profit as you can. So it's a race because you are running with your competitors to be able to meet your objectives. And in every race, there are always tendency for crashes. There are always tendency for crashes. In as much as you invest so much to ensure that your business is more profitable, your business is able to meet your customer faster, more efficiently, effectively. You also need to be sure that you are not running at a loss, or you wouldn't make a mistake that will cause you a disaster. And that's why in the Formula One race, they invest so much in brakes. Like in every car, if you enter a car and you notice that the car does not have brake, you will notice that for you to get your destination, you will have to move slowly. But if you have a very efficient braking system in your car, you can run at 120 kilometers per hour, you can run at 140, you can run at 150, because you know that you have effective braking system that if there be any eventuality, you can actually control it. So the Formula One race, they invest so much in their cars to be able to meet their goals, meet their objective. That is what you do day to day. But every day you go to your business, you're looking for how to become more profitable, how to meet your customer need, how you can outsmart the competition, how you can be better. You're doing that, but you also need to have control measures. You need to have a braking system so that as you are driven to meet your objective, you don't actually meet your end. So, like the Formula One race, they invest so much in brakes. They invest so much in brakes so that they can control that speed. They can control that speed. And it also applies to your business this way. As you're going online, because now, like digital data is like the new oil, everybody is going online. If there's no business this day that is not online, typically you are missing a lot. So people on Instagram, people on Facebook, people are having websites, people are having money points, money having POS business. Now, typically you can't walk into a shop, even in markets, you will ask, do you have POS? And if you don't have POS, there are chances that you will lose the customer. I, for instance, can share many experiences where I couldn't buy things in a shop or from someone because the person doesn't have POS. So rather than me going to a POS vendor, pay 100 naira, then come back to you, I better go to somebody that have POS and I can just do that transaction without having to make a 100 naira extra commitment. So you put in all of these things, but as much as you are getting more digitalized, you are trying to outsmart the competition. You also need to put in some control measures to ensure that the money you have in that particular POS or that bank account is not taken within the middle of the night. You just wake up and see that all your money is gone. Okay, so from statistics, looking at SMEs, there was a study that was done by PwC to look at what are the threats facing SMEs. What are the threats? What are the challenges that are facing SMEs in Nigeria? So this was done in 2020 by PwC, and the whole idea was how can people build businesses that will last, rather than waiting 5 years, maybe after the founder of that business dies and the business vanquishes that. Okay, how can you ensure that you can build a business that lasts? And these were some of the things they highlighted. This was 2020. And they highlighted that finance, businesses in Nigeria have issues accessing finance. Electricity is a challenge. Electricity is increasing, is not available, and it's actually increasing. The bills are quite high for businesses. There's also infrastructure deficit, roads, a lot of amenities or social amenities don't support your business. You have to go far and beyond to be able to meet your customer needs. Then also finding customers might be a challenge because the finance is no more how can you do marketing, how can you get customers, and inflation is rising. The last time I checked, for last month is about 26.5%. Every one of you here on this call will testify that prices are increasing. For instance, I bought a bag of fries yesterday for about 58,000 naira. And I was shocked that the bag of rice I used to buy less than 10,000 naira some years back is actually 50, almost times six of the amount it was. So inflation is rising and is affecting your businesses, it's affecting everybody's business. So these are some of the things that are facing your business as a challenge. And they still exist. But when you now look from the post-COVID era, now that almost everybody is going cashless, even with the CBN cashless policy, where there was a time where you remember towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, where they tried to reduce the cash in the economy, and everybody had to resort to POS, had to resort to digital banking. I could remember instances where you will go to the market, you don't have cash, you have money in your ATM, but you can't buy anything. And that has made business owners, SMEs, to evolve to become um, digital enabled, meaning their businesses are digital driven. Whether it's in social media, wherever it is, you want to be able to ensure that you take advantage of the digital evolution. But as you take advantages of it, there are also issues or threats you also get with it. Because whenever you put anything online or anytime you put your money in the banking system, you are open to a whole lot of threats. Let me give an example. I was discussing with someone early this week, and I was saying, gone are those days where armed robbers come to people's houses to rob them, or they go to people's shops to go and rob them with a gun and say, "Give me the money, then give me the money." Why? Because nobody keeps money at home again. Nobody keeps money in their shop. Everybody is doing digital. Everybody is doing digital. So now the thieves that needs to make ends meet, to meet their targets, they will go online where the money is, and that is where your business is. That's where your money is. So you need to know that in as much as you put in all those physical security of gates, of a security man, or all of those things to ensure that somebody doesn't bogle, somebody doesn't come in and take your property. You also need to ensure that you have the same security measures even on your online presence, even on your digital banking, so that somebody will not bogle your account, someone will not steal the money you have there and make profit from it or make money from it. So we're in the post-COVID era where cyber threats are on the increase, cyber security threats are on the rise, and it affects every one of you, whether you're a market woman, whether you're a fashion designer, whether you don't need to be a big business, because a lot of people assume that you must be a very big business or a big bank to actually experience cyber threat. But no matter how small you are, no matter how big your business is, you are not exempt from the list of cyber threats that face you. And SMEs can actually lose all their profits with just one cyber incident. There was even a statistic that shows that barely any SMEs or business that will survive an attack. Once they hit you once and they wipe every money, wipe everything you have, it's quite difficult to start again. So that's why we're discussing this and making you aware so that you can also put in the right braking system, right control system, security controls to ensure that as you're running, as you're wanting to make profit, wanting to meet your customer, and wanting to grow and become a unicorn, a valuable organization, a valuable enterprise, also ensure that you have all of these checks or controls in place. Now, what are cyber threats? So just opening the floor for this discourse, and I'm helping you understand why you need to pay attention to this, why you need to uh, harm yourself with all of these things. Why you need to have effective braking system in your online presence, in your businesses, so that you will not have a crash, you won't have an accident. Now, there's a saying by Nico Hakonen. He said, if it is smart, it is vulnerable. Anything that is connected to the internet is exposed. Vulnerable means weak. Anything connected to the internet is weak. Anything on the internet is weak. That's typically is vulnerable because somebody out there can come for your business. Now, it is not a geographical thing like say, okay, it is only people in Lagos that are affected or people in Nigeria. It's a global thing. Somebody in US, somebody in China, somebody anywhere in the world is after your hard-earned money. And it tells you that you have more people after you rather than just a few people within your locality. So you need to ensure that you keep those of your resources safe. So if it is smart, if it's a smartphone you are using, it means it has internet connection with it. If it's a pure anything that has connectivity to the network, to the internet is vulnerable. Now, what is a threat? A threat, we're looking at threat landscape. A threat is anything that can cause harm to your business. Anything at all. Anything that can shut you out of business. Anything that can make your business not survive the next day is a threat. That can actually damage your business. That's a threat. It's as simple as that. But when we talk about cyber threats, we are being more specific to cybersecurity threats. That anything that can cause serious harm to your computer system, to your digital assets. You don't need to have a laptop to be exposed to cyber threats. You don't need to have a printer. No, you get anything that is smart that can connect to something or connect to network or connect to MTN, connect anything that can connect is actually vulnerable. So you need to ensure that you understand that these threats exist and you look for breaking systems or look for ways to prevent it. Like anybody who is driving knows that there are chances of accidents and you wear the seat belt, you have airbag, you have brakes, you have all of these things, you even have handbrake. Some they even call it automatic braking system to ensure that if there are any eventuality, you'll be able to reduce the impact to the various minimum. The cyber threat is something that may or may not happen. So it's a possibility. That's why it's a risk. It can happen, it cannot happen. It's like when you put your car on the road, it might have an accident, it might not have an accident. But you have some measures to ensure that if there be any accident, there will not be loss of life, the damages will not be much. Now, cyber threat materialize when actually these weaknesses are exploited or taken advantage of. So this is what cyber threats is about, and it's increasing. It cuts across all your digital footprint, whether you're on social media, whether you have a bank account, whatever thing, every digital presence. That's where the threats cuts across. Now, what are some of the top 5 threats which we will be discussing even in this forum, on this workshop, to harm you of them and also help you understand how you can put in those control measures, those braking systems to ensure that you don't fall for them. Now we have phishing. Phishing is like you go to a water, you carry a hook, like all the fishermen, you carry a net, you carry a hook, and you put a bait in that net or in that hook, and you are waiting for any fish in the ocean, anybody that will pick it. And once the fish picks that bait, it becomes your catch. That is what fishing is about. It's similar to the regular fishing but here we are talking about they will send you an email, they will send you a text message. Because there are also variants of phishing. There's smishing, which is SMS. There's vishing, which somebody will call you. I believe every one of us here, I don't think there's nobody that will be exempted from this. That somebody calls you from your bank and say, or somebody claims to call you from your bank and say, Ibrahim, my name is this. Are you so person? Can you provide this data? Can you provide this information that I'm from customer care? You have all of those. Those are phishing, and a lot of businesses are actually falling victim of it. And why? If nobody is falling victim of it, they will have stopped. And what they do is this: they have a list of about 200 names, 200 businesses, people, maybe having a particular POS vendor. They get all their account number and their name, and they call them one by one. Once they call you and they see that you are wasting time, they will cut the call the next person. They are not patient because they have a list of 200 they must meet. They have a target, and they know that if I call 200 people, at least one person will fall for it. So we're harming you with this workshop. We're exposing you to this workshop so that you will not be that one person that will fall for it. So phishing is one. They send email, they send SMSs to you. One I even saw yesterday, the day before yesterday, was that they said your CV has been accepted. Kindly go to this link to start earning 18,000 naira per day. I did not apply for any job, but I'm getting an SMS. Now, if I am desperate for a job, I could fall for it. Malware is also another. Malware means malicious software. Means that you install something. In this idea of free. You're looking for free software. You're looking for free operating system. Looking for free. And most of these free softwares have malware in them. And like someone said, there's nothing free unless you are the product. There's nothing free. So when you download free software, most of the times they have what they call Trojan, they have what they call a malware that can actually give an attacker or is threat actor, somebody who is after you, to have access to your system, have access to your bank, have access to any of your digital footprint. So you need to be careful that you are not downloading malware, malicious software to your phone. You're not downloading malicious software to your computer, to anything digital. For instance, the video that was shown to us, again, there was a pop-up which came by phishing. So can you click this link? And she clicked it and printed it. And printing it, a malware was downloaded and it infected their printer. And the printer, when the printer was affected, the attacker was able to do what we call lateral movement, was able to move from one place to the other, and he got access to their network. So you need to be sure of what you click, what you download, sites you visit. Some of these websites are vulnerable, some of these websites have malware. You've seen instances where you go to a site, you click one, it opens another page. Many a times, some of these sites are compromised. You also have what they call ransomware. Now, it's a type of malware, but now this is where there's a financial aspect to malware. You might be asking, the people that are creating malware, what do they gain? But in ransomware now, you are making money from it. What they do is this: the malware encrypts, like kidnaps your data, and they ask you to pay. Each and every one of us know, at least know what kidnapping is, where they take somebody close to you, or something you need, or someone you need, and they ask you to pay for you to get it, for you to pay a ransom. So what they do here is that once your system gets infected with malware, it encrypts your file, it locks the file that you won't be able to see it, and they will now ask you to pay money for you to get it. And imagine they encrypting all your customer information. There are informations that you use day to day. Imagine somebody locked you from it and is asking you to pay for it. So that's what malware is about. Another threat is weak password. Even from ATM, a lot of people here, not surprisingly, would have their date of birth as their PIN. Some will have their children's name as their password. Some, when you even work with some people, you hear them start talking about God, talking about this, talking, you can very well guess their password. And that password is what they use on Facebook, they use on Instagram, they use on their video, they use for everywhere. So once they get that password, everything is exposed. So insider threat are also there. Insider threat is something every business here will be aware of it. You have somebody who is in your business, if you're an employer of labor, and the person is actually working with the competitor. The person is looking for how to steal from you. The person is looking for how to damage your business. It's everywhere. Even in threats, they are there where you have people who will speak with attackers, they get enrolled, and they will actually be giving your information to the computer, giving your information to attackers. So insider threats are very, very important because they are people you trust. So they have access to your system, they have access to your POS machine, they have access to all of these things. And from there, they will get information that will actually, that your business can actually suffer a cyber attack. Now, what are some recommendations? So I highlighted five here, irrespective of the kind of business you do. So whether you're doing fashion designing, whether you're doing consulting, whether you're a lawyer, whatever business you're doing, these five applies to you. Um, just looking at the various audiences we have. So security awareness, you need to know. If you don't know, you will fall a victim. If you don't know, you will fall a victim. Like in Nigeria, we are familiar with 419. We get at 419, what do they do? They try to exploit somebody's ignorance. That's what the 419 does. They just try to be deceptive because nobody can deceive you on what you know. So that's why we want you to know all of these things so that you wouldn't fall victim of cyber threats. Like social engineering, what they do, you get somebody talks to you, say it's your friend, like they call you and say, we need that information from you, you to come here, and they swindle a lot of money from you. So security awareness is very, very, very key. Don't click on links that you shouldn't click. If anything is too good to be true, then it is not true. There are a lot of things as such. Now, multi-factor authentication is also key. For instance, if you do business online, if your business is on social media, ensure you enable what they call 2FA, two-factor authentication, which means that whenever anybody or you want to have access to that account, you will have to authenticate it with another means. Maybe an OTP code will be sent to your phone. Maybe you will use an app to do a push notification. You just have to do something external. Because if it is only password, anybody can guess password. Anybody can break your password. It's just a matter of time. But when you have 2FA, when you have multi-factor authentication, there are high chances that they won't break. I believe each and every one of us have been on WhatsApp group where you see somebody just start sending scam messages, pay 10,000 and get 20,000 naira, and you see the person's WhatsApp account has been hacked. Check 99.99% of those instances, the person did not have MFA enabled. Check anybody you can see whose Facebook account was hacked, which Instagram account was hacked, you will always see the common trend. They did not enable MFA, they did not enable multi-factor authentication, they did not enable 2FA. Because once you enable it, once the person is trying to hack, you will get a notification that at so time on so device were you the one that was trying to authenticate. And you know you wouldn't give that code to anybody. Endpoint protection is also quite very key. As simple as having an antivirus can save you a lot on your phone. A lot of people phones don't even have antivirus. And you download some applications that is accessing your contact, accessing everything. That is accessing everything. Yes. Okay. So and you also need to. Okay. I don't know if you can still see my screen. Sorry.
Yeah, we can see it, but you can share the screen too as well.
I can reshare the screen. So you said I should reshare the screen.
Yes, yes, sir. You can share the screen.
Okay, let me reshare it. Sorry.
All right, perfect.
Okay, you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can. Great, sir. Thanks.
Okay, so I've spoken about security awareness training, multi-factor, endpoint protection is very important. You need to have at least an antivirus on your phone, on your system. It will reduce the malware you have. Also, cloud, you need to back up your files. Have a cloud backup. I remember those days when, before the advent of Google Contacts, once your SIM gets misplaced, all your contacts is gone. But these days, you can actually back them up. You can back up all your files. If there's any sensitive or any file that you can't afford to lose, you can back them up somewhere so that if they are encrypted or you don't have access to it, you can always have access to it. So for as many businesses that has an email, you can enable email security features on that mail. And even in a much more bigger enterprise, you can have what we call an email security gateway to be able to help you filter and reduce malicious email that gets delivered to your business. So these are some of the recommendations or security controls that you can put in place so that your business will not fall victim of cyber threats or cyber attackers. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate you for that. So, right about now, so if you have any questions, we're going to be dropping that on the comment section. Please, a round of applause for our keynote speakers, please. If and I hope you're able to get a thing or two from this.
I did. I got a lot. One key thing I got was that if you want to, although you want to get to your destination fast, it is important that you get to that destination safely. So, in as much as you want to digitalize everything to ensure that your business is growing, it is important that you're able to safeguard your digital assets and also safeguard your money and your business. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So as we heard from him, it is not enough for you to just have physical security. It is also important that we are aware of the online threat and aware of how to protect ourselves against it. So to be sure that everyone was listening, I'm going to share a link on the chat, and you can just tell us the 5 top cyber threats that can affect your business. You can click on the link and tell us the 5 top cyber threats that can affect your business.
Is there a gift to be won, Ifunaya? Because I would like to win a gift for myself.
Yes, the gift is that your business is secured.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, so Mr. Samuel, thank you very much for your time on this call. Really do appreciate you taking our time to be a part of these uh, workshop, and really thank you for the valuable knowledge you've passed across. And I believe the businesses here will be safer, all thanks to you for these great speech about uh, the cyber, the current threat landscape. And we really do appreciate you. So please let those questions keep coming in. We look forward to seeing them so we can also take questions. If not, are we having any questions coming in on that end from the Slido?
Not yet.
All right. So right about now, we're just going to take a little bit of a very short video break, just to share some of the concepts as guest keynote speakers already shared. So it's just for us to be on that same page. So just enjoy.
Knock, knock. Who's there? It's your old friend, the wolf. A lot has happened since we last spoke. Mom's home, Dad's home, little Russell's home.
Hey, Russ, that's enough for today. I need my computer to finish up some work.
Mom, I'm on the last level.
And they have no idea that I've already invited myself in.
Ah, rookie mistake. Should have used the Omega Defense Shield, kid. Should be outside playing ball anyway.
Housebound kids like my friend Russell here are getting in a lot of screen time lately. Hackers have taken notice. The more time they spend on Mom or Dad's work laptop, bigger targets they become. Unprotected machines like this one are ripe for random phishing attacks, just like the fake email I'm about to send young Russell. All it takes is just one click. Before you know it, I've worked myself right into the Porter family network. Oh. The fortune companies spend on fancy network protection for their offices is of little use if no one is there. If Mom's company had given her the HP Elite Dragonfly with Wolf security, my attack would be dead on arrival.
Guys, dinner's ready!
Right on cue.
Looks like I'll be staying for dinner.
Let's regroup on Monday and have the rest of the team join us later on in the week when we have things buttoned up.
Working from home has its pros, but also has its cons. One being the threat of cyber attack on machines like that beauty over there. If Alice had an HP printer with Wolf Enterprise security, it would have stopped me in my tracks. Printers like these make for the perfect hiding place on the network. All I have to do is wait here until Alice points me to my next target.
Got it. I'll get it out to the team right now.
That's right. Come to Papa. Oh, look, it's Alice from HR. Nothing suspicious there. Just like everyone else who got her email. Mr. CTO just fell for my Alice impersonation. A guy like me, given the keys to the kingdom, what's the worst that could happen? This place used to be the picture of commerce, but now that everybody's working from home, it's a ghost town. 4! Little do they know, one of their colleagues just blasted out a file to the entire company without realizing yours truly was hiding inside. Now that I'm in, it's time to have some fun. Who's first? Hey, Jerry from finance. And just like that, I bricked every employee's device, rendering each of their computers and tablets useless. Let's check in on the IT team, see how they're handling the news, shall we?
Oh, not again.
What now?
Another virtual happy hour.
Oops, I must have left them off my list. These poor folks. No advanced AI tools to identify incoming threats, no real-time data evaluation. Without a partner to help them think it all through, they're left to fend for themselves.
My computer just crashed and I can't get a hold of anyone at the office. What am I supposed to do? The deadline is tonight, Paul.
Okay, I may or may not have also shut off the phones in the office, because why not?
Why do you think I'm calling? I need you to get down to the office and fix this.
If they'd had HP Wolf Security Services, AI would have sniffed out my attack before it snuck in through the back door. Just ask little Russell. One bad click and it can all come crashing down. As if the world wasn't a scary enough place already, don't forget the bad guys are also working from home. Wasn't it time you had security that does too? Little boxes on.
Thank you very much. I hope we have been able to learn from that. So it's just talking to the fact that, given the fact that our working culture is changing, so also the way attackers try to, should I say, intrude into our network is changing. Now, people working from home means that organization network are now extended to our personal networks and personal devices, and which could have diverse effects on us. So as you can see from there, we're able to, or rather from the video, we're able to see how someone was able to get access via just a game being played by a little boy. All right, so walking us through the next point in our agenda, talking about the cybersecurity best practices and also developing a cybersecurity culture for SMEs, is a renowned security professional. All right, so he's also the head of security at Commodus. He's also a fraud analyst and is certified to become a member of the Global Association of Risk Professionals. All right, so he's no other person but Stephen Archie. Please, a round of applause for Stephen Archie, please. You're still muted. Kindly unmute your mic, please. No. You're still muted. You can't. You've not unmuted yet.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's good. Good
Okay.
morning, Stephen. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, same here too. Hello, everyone. Apologies. I'm very close to the airport and I'm on the road, so you might just be hearing planes coming in and it's little side noise. So I'm on transit actually. Apologies for that.
No problem.
Okay. So let's just go right into it. Can I share my screen?
Please go ahead. You can.
Do let me know when you can see my screen.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So just before I put this into presentation mode, I did like to share something very unique as well. Just to let us know that apart from the video that we've seen, the first one and the second one, and also the wonderful presentation that was done by Samuel. Thank you very much, sir. I did like to also share this. We call it the threat map. Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes, we can. We can see it, Stephen.
Okay, it's called the threat map. And what exactly is this threat map? It shows you on the far left corner of the screen the type of attack that are currently being uh, posted online. You know, various countries being targeted from the threat source to the targeted countries, or you want to call it destination. So you can see these lines coming from one end of the screen to the other end, and then you have a country popping up and all of that. Why am I sharing this right now? You can see on the far right corner of my screen, you can see list of countries that you probably will not um, tag as your traveling destination, right? Mongolia. Who the hell wants to go to Mongolia, Vietnam, and things like that? But the unfortunate thing is that right here on this list, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Nigeria. Wow. And this says top targeted countries. So people, is real, is here. And what are the most top common threats that we're seeing live right here at this moment, with Nigeria being a target? You can see at the below part, just where my console is, you see malware. Somebody spoke about malware, and you can see phishing, right? So the video that we just watched also spoke a lot about exploits, right? Exploiting those vulnerabilities that you can have on your system or within your network. So people, this is real. And that is where we want to talk about things like having a culture for um, your business. Forgive me, I'm a picture person, so I have more of the pictures, and then I'll just talk us through it. And I try as much as possible to put pictures that speaks about business. So it's okay if they all look like people from the Western world, right? The idea here is just for you to have a picture in your mind and, you know, consider it or see it as a business. Also, for example, if I have a clothing business, the picture here says office, it still means the same thing, yeah? So it's a presentation that is targeting both business office owners and also people who has a business around um, communicating or transacting with other customers, generally giving services. And you do that via email, you do that via maybe transfer, as the case may be. You pay money, you receive money, you send email, you send SMSs, you receive SMSs and all of that. You share data online, you update and upload your pictures and information on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, now X, as the case may be. So just join me as we flow through this. I trust that I'm audible.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
audible. Yes,
Okay,
you
and
can.
you can also see my screen. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, thank you. So, a little bit about Stephen with a PH, graduated from Uni Loring years back. My journey through cybersecurity backed so little certificates. Don't mind me, I'm a bit lazy when it comes to certifications. And currently working with Komodo system. I have 12 years under my badge, and I thank God for it. I'm a very, very go-to person because I see information as when you share it, it goes round, it circulates, everybody gets it. But when you don't share it, it stays with you and it dies with you and nobody knows about it. So let's just go straight into it. We've seen this threat map, and it's also a bit a cause for concern because we have Nigeria, you know, as one of the top 5 targeted countries. I guess our population is really doing us uh, a lot of good, and it's also doing us a lot of harm because if you check the number in terms of our population, and you also want to check based on the information that Samuel did share earlier, you will see that even if it is 1 million, and then somebody has ransomware, one of the cyber criminals has a ransomware attack on 1 million businesses or 1 million individuals, and then he's asking them to pay $1. Just multiply that by 1 million, convert it to naira as the case may be. You know that such a person is working, smiling to the bank. So people is real. Nigeria is on the list, and these cyber criminals are aware and they're watching. So quickly now. So whatever your business model is, right? Somebody somewhere would have talked to you about securing your environment, and Samuel also did today, right? So security is key for your business. However, you also need to be aware that this IT also brings things that we call exposure to data privacy, right? So, like I did say, you share your information, you share your contact list, you receive mails, bada bing, bada boom, and all of that. All of these things are made possible because you have internet and because you have the infrastructure, and they have also put IT in place. Yeah, but then it also comes with a huge cost when it is not properly taken care of, right? When there are no pros to guide against misuse or abuses. I'm telling you, the implication can be devastating and the cost can be very, very huge, humongous, if I want to put it that way. So, having known this, we should also be aware that there are cyber criminals and there are bad actors. Internet today brings something good. We all make use of the internet. It makes life easy. It brings the world closer. Yeah. But then it also exposes us to these cyber criminals who are also working tirelessly to see how they can cause havoc. They steal your identity, they steal your password to get into your system, they steal your banking information, user account, they hack you, they spy on you. If you're a person of interest, maybe a politically exposed person, they just shame you out there, right? Because they have access to your environment. And these bad actors, they are really, really bad and scary. Oh, okay. This one, I can agree, this is scary. Just on a lighter note. Okay, so what exactly is the discussion here? I did say that we have our infrastructure, you have to put security on it, but what is a security if you don't have a security plan, right? Security is mostly driven by your IT expert or by a consultant who is asking you to ensure that you install some things on your phone, some things on your laptop, 2 or 3 of your co-workers, you install some protective tools on them, right? However, if you're not very careful, if you don't have some processes in place, those colleagues of yours those staff of yours, your phones can all be exposed to so many things, malware, phishing, ransomware attack, and all of that. Even with your IT processes in place, you also need to have a culture. You also need to have processes and procedures that ensure you are adequately using the security tools and apparatus that have been made available for your business. Now, let's be real. A cybersecurity culture present a strong front against cyber threats. So if you have pros and cons on how you engage, how you use your tools, right? It is actually a starting point for your defense when it comes to cyber threats. You need to create a cybersecurity culture and you need to ensure that it is across your business organizations, processes, and procedures. How you send money, how you save documentation, how to send email, how not to click, just like the boy, you saw the boy did click on an email because he is not aware, right? Unfortunately, kids don't get that much education, right? But then it can also happen to employees. We saw in the first video where a phishing mail was sent to a lady and she just clicked, and that brought um, serious damage to the organization and they were exposed. Yeah. So when we say building or developing a cybersecurity culture, um, on my slide, I try as much as possible to make it simple and precise. So I have about 7 or thereabout listed here, steps that can really critical steps that can help us, position us better to be able to adequately manage the security apparatus or the security measures that were put in place, yeah, or security tools that were put in place. So first thing I say is be open and be honest. So what do I mean by being open and be honest? You have your processes in place. However, somebody within the organization did something wrong, right? Example, clicked on a mail. That person should be able to come forward to say, guys, I think I messed up here. I'm not sure, but I clicked on the mail and I didn't see anything happening. If it is your phone that you are using to transact, to do business, as soon as you notice something abnormal, right, you should be able to speak to somebody about it. Get your provider, your security provider to help you. Some persons will say, oh, this is not my queue because I'm basically a fashion designer. I must say to you that in as much as you have a phone, right, anything can happen. Imagine the pictures of your loved one being exposed, because your camera has been tampered with and it got turned on when you're probably having your bed, right? So you need to come out open to say, you think something has happened, I need help here. So whatever you are put in place, being a single business, a one-man business, a two-man business, or a business, an SME, a business that has more than 5, 6 member staff, you have put rules and policies in place. Anybody within the organization that probably has seen something or had something should be able to come up clean and be open about it. So the first step in building a cybersecurity culture is to be open and honest. The second one is to outline the mission. So as a group, as an individual doing business with 1 or 2 persons, we all need to agree, hey guys, this cyber threat is real. We need to put a cybersecurity measure in place, right? So what do we call it? What is it going to be? You just have to find a way to make it simple and precise. Communicate to everybody you're doing business with, or communicate to your employees, as the case may be. Everybody, our cybersecurity mission statement is be proactive, for example, right? So everybody needs to learn it. It has to be very simple, and it has to be verbalized in form of an elevator speech. So when I say elevator speech, something very simple that you can just say and it sticks to your mind. So every time you go into, maybe you want to use the internet, you go into a cyber cafe, you want to open the office email, the first thing that comes to mind is, what is our security mission? Be proactive, okay? Let me be careful. Let me see what I'm doing. Let me be conscious of all the clicks and everything. So have a mission statement that sticks to the mind, that reminds you of how you should go every day. The third one is winning executive support. So this might not really work for small organization that doesn't have an executive hierarchy, right? You are the all in all, you are the business owner, you are the executive, you are also the omonishe, just on a sidebar. Yeah. So yes, you just have to say to yourself that you're ready to move this forward. You are ready to ensure that this is in place. And if you are in the category of uh, an employer of labor, you have your workforce, you have your business owners who has also invested in the business plan. You need to ensure that they are carried along and they support this idea of being secured so that our businesses don't get exposed, so that competition don't see our data and then start to use it against us. Executive must support the idea. Executive must be part of it. Executive must also ensure that it is not just the IT people who are actually going to school to study IT security, yeah, but every other person within the organization, HR, for example, HR needs to be drafted into the security plan. Not too technical, but HR should also know that, look, clicks are very essential, and I have to know the right source. I have to speak to somebody before I even go ahead and clicking. I shouldn't be in a rush. And when I see, I should speak. When somebody comes to me, I should tell IT. So executive need to find a way to draft everybody into it, because if the executive buy into it, if business owners buy into it, then we are all, on the same page, right? To developing a cybersecurity culture. The next one is win employee support. Yeah, cyber attacks, right? Everyone can be a target. Anyone can be a target. Do you know what to do? Here, employees, irrespective of your department or your cadre or your skill set, you have to be conscious and be aware, right, that cyber attacks are real, and you need to know what to do when you see something. You need to say something, and you need to be on the part of helping the IT team, right? Even if you have spotted something, it is not you. You should be able to advise IT and say, I think I saw this from someone's desk. What should we do? I think this is suspicious. What should we do? So employees need to be informed. Members of organization that is within your team, you're a three-man business, everybody should know. Even from your phone, when you see something, you speak to somebody about it, they need to know so that you don't crash the business that you're trying to build. Just like Samuel said, every unicorn starts with a corn. So if while you are trying to be that corn, that distinct corn, right, you shouldn't crash the business because you have a target that you want to meet to be the unicorn. So please, everybody needs to be involved and everybody needs to get the buy-in. Yeah. So the next one is define roles and expectation. This might not also apply to small two-man, three-man business, but nothing is impossible. Just identify what the plan is, identify what the role of every individual is, and for organizations that have departments, as the case may be, everybody within the department, everybody within the various groups or various teams has to be involved. They all have to do or play one roles and the other, and you need to spell it out. You need to write it out. It needs to be like a Bible or a Quran, right there on your desk or right there on your phone, because you know what your role is, and you have to have a matrix to check them, right? If anybody within the team is doing well, there should be a champion. I call them product champion. So somebody has to champion this tracking the rules that has been defined and then working towards ensuring everybody is meeting the expectation as spelled out in the rules. So number 5, in building a cybersecurity culture, everybody should be involved. Roles and responsibility has to be written out, fashioned out, and somebody has to be a key member of those group to ensure that all the outlined expectations are met in protecting and ensuring that we are secured, even when we have the security tools in place. Yeah. So I move to number 6, invest in training. So just like what we are having today, education is key, right? So when attacks happen, how do they happen? What are the indicators to look out for? What do I need to monitor? These are the things that are discussed in every workshop seminar. So I must appreciate the team that has come up with this initiative and bringing it to the grassroots, the people on the street, the people with small business, the con today that are trying to be unicorn, right? I appreciate you. Please, when you see opportunities like this coming your way, asking you to join a webinar or asking you to join a training session where they talk about cybersecurity, be involved, get your team along with it, get your member staff, your business owner, everybody should come, and attend such program because it is key. Nigeria today is on number 5 on the targeted countries for cyber attack. That alone should scare anyone. And where you hear people talk about cybersecurity, just join and listen in. 1 hour, 2 hours is not a waste of time because if you're attacked, the impact can be devastating. Your business can crumble. Your strategy and plans that are making you successful can be exposed to your competitors, and then your competitors have your plans, and then they are probably proactive in displaying them or showcasing them, which might most likely put you out of business. So please, awareness, training, very essential, very key. Every organization should invest in it, even if it means you have to pay a small token. Try as much as possible to pay that token so as to avoid the immense budget or funding that will be required to clean up any mess or to clean up a cybersecurity attack on your organization. 7, password. We spoke a lot about it. You need to be able to manage your password so that you don't be like this, my friend that got surprised looking at his laptop because he has been messed up or affected by one of these attack vectors. So manage your password, imbibe in a culture of routine changing of your password. I met a senior in the industry, highly executive, and when I wanted to connect to his hotspot, and I said, "Sir, can I have your hotspot, your Wi-Fi password?" And he said 12345. I was shocked. And he's a senior man in the security industry. And I said, "Oh, guy, you're becoming lazy. You can imagine 12345 as a password." He just smiled away. So please change your password as frequent as possible. Do not be lazy about it, and everything will work out as planned. I trust we are still together. Am I still audible?
Yes,
Yes, you
very,
are.
very audible. Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear
yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So to avoid cyber threats exposure, start by changing your password. Please tell your neighbor about it. Even in your phones, try as much as possible to routinely change your password, right? It helps a lot. So number 7 on the building cybersecurity culture, manage your password effectively. And number 8, I did say keeping the score. There's something called gamification. It's something that somebody did make mention that there's a link, let's click on it, let's make it interactive and all of that. So what does gamification do for us and creating incentive? It makes everybody be involved, right? Play a little game organized by your IT team just to see how you can, how well you have been, how well is your knowledge about everything that is being spoke about within the organization, within your business space, right? Say, oh, for example, you want to use this so that users can be engaged, right? They learn right? They open their mind to try to remember what the IT guy or what the IT consultant came and spoke about, or what was discussed within this workshop that we're having today, right? And it helps every individual to be challenged, right? Oh, okay, what was the answer, or what was the answer to that question? What question was it asked, and all of that. So it creates that avenue for you to open your mind, and you also want to be in sessions like this, right? So if you add incentive, just like somebody was asking, I want to play the game, so what's in it for me? I was not too happy when you said your business is protected. There should be an incentive that would spur everybody to want to go into this approach, right? But we should not also forget the goal, which is here on this program, we want to be educated on how to do things. It would also help us because after today, we also want to go and learn more. It increases our skill and it makes us very productive in every aspect of our business. Executives are now aware, they know what to do, and they know how to push IT, and they know how to accept IT when IT comes around to say, oh God, we need to buy a malware to protect our system, because they've been attending programs like this. And if you're a business owner, your office is your phone, yeah, ensure that you have some level of security. It's not every pop-up that comes onto your phone that you want to see. Sometimes on my WhatsApp, I see even legitimate link that says, oh, get your an extra security layer for your WhatsApp. I don't rush into clicking on it. I want to ask somebody. I want to discuss about it, because these things looks very legitimate. But when you go into it and you click on it, you find out that you are being messed up because somebody has just cloned themselves to be a man in the middle, just to get on board, have access to your phone, and have access to every personal thing that is on your phone. So ensure that you are encouraging everybody to be proactive in their security awareness. And one of the ways to do this is to make it look like a game, right? What's the best way to protect your password? Oh, keep changing it. Put a special character, still stuff like that. Anybody that gets it, say, oh, you won yourself $1,000 if you have that capacity. If not, say, oh, you won yourself 15 naira for lunch, or you won yourself 200 naira. That would help them to always be conscious and be aware of the security threat, and it becomes a culture. It sticks in their head. They always want to ensure that they don't fall into this trap of being careless, as the case list. Are we together?
Yeah, we are together. We're together.
Okay. It says here, create a lively conversation. How do we do that? Just like every culture, stories are often the backbone. Yeah. Consciously or unconsciously, talk about security. Discuss it with your team member. Check online, and if you see the latest news or updates about security, discuss it with your business owner and say, oh boy, I just saw this thing. Oh, madam, do you know I just saw this? It's happening. We saw it on CNN. It was discussed in Channels TV. It helps keep the conversation alive and everybody is aware. Adopt newsletters. For those of us who have small businesses, encourage your admin officers or your HR to come up with documentation that tells you maybe once in a while you need to check your email and probably one of the successes that you achieve and all that. So pretty much create a newsletter, talk about it, discuss it, and all of that. And also foster an environment that encourages questions and ensure employees knows who to ask. So within your organization, within your business, if you have any security challenge, do you know who to talk to? For those of us who have 2-man, 3-man businesses, if you have security challenge, do you know your best vendor to call to say, I experienced this, what can we do? Right? And if you are an organization, you have this team that you normally speak to. And if you are also one of the people that everybody comes to ask questions, please keep it simple and just ensure that you are not bundle it with so many jargons. Sometimes we want to communicate, we don't keep it simple, and within that communication, message is lost. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, and stuff like that. So pretty much establish a cybersecurity culture. Employee must accept their responsibility at an individual level. So what does this mean, or what is this trying to tell us? That even in your conversation about cybersecurity, you should ensure that you find a way to drive it home, right? You tell them cybersecurity, yes, it's good for my business because you are working for me, but it's good for my business because you're a business partner. It is also good for you as an individual because your family, pictures, private messages, private conversation can be exposed if you are not security conscious. Those of us that are adults, bring your own device. Oh, I'm comfortable with my laptop. You need to keep a check. Yes, it's not company's laptops, it's personal laptop, but you have to keep a check on how people engage in office business, separating it from their personal business. You can meet any consultant out there. They can help you come up with a strategy that separates your business from your personal, even on your personal devices. I want to say thank you all for this wonderful opportunity given me. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steven. Thank you for this important nuggets that we've received. We are really grateful. See, one important thing he said was that for you to get started with building your cybersecurity culture, is that first you are open and honest as to where you are currently in your cybersecurity posture. And then it goes on to making sure that everybody knows their roles and responsibilities, and even to keeping track of where you are. So it's not just you starting the process, it's to make sure that you know where you are and you know how to build from there. Thank you very much, Mr. Steven. If you have any question, you can put it in the link that is shared in the comment section, and we would. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steven. We really do appreciate you for that wonderful nuggets you've shared about building a robust cybersecurity culture for SMEs. I believe we have been able to take a few things and be honest, as basic as being honest, as basic as changing your password regularly, is as basic as you like you said, some of the our businesses here might not have executive support, so they are the executive, they are the all-rounder. So it's as much as you passing out that culture from top to bottom, so it can be easily adopted. All right, so and also winning employee support. That means you shouldn't put stringent rules in place, but something flexible that your employee can work with, and define the roles and expectation. Okay, so it's just for us to just know who is supposed to do what, and we should also know that security too is everyone's business, and invest in training. Education is key, like I earlier mentioned. So training your staff about the latest trends will go a very long way to keeping them aware, and also password management, or regularly change your password, as simple as that. Change your password, use different password for different accounts, and keep scores. All right, so gamifications, just for us to be able to understand, should I say, use gamified approach to learning, which aids in learning as well, and also create a lively conversation. Security shouldn't be all boring and all techie, it should be something relatable. So for those businesses, yeah, those are the quick nuggets you should actually take note of to stay safe and be safe. All right, Funaya, over to you. What do we have next?
Okay. Our next speaker, having spent a few years in legal and compliance across multiple industries, made a pivot to cybersecurity as a skilled governance, risk, and compliance analyst. She currently implements security policies, conducts risk assessments, and facilitates security training within and outside CC Hub. She's keen on privacy, data protection, and digital security for social impact. Today, she'll be helping us understand how regulatory frameworks are important to ensure security compliance in the SME today. Please welcome Wurola Taiwo, the project manager at CC Hall.
Thank you very much for that lovely welcome. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy you guys considered me for this session. So I'm just going to try to get right into it. Yeah, I want to I'm trying to share my screen, so just give me a second to get that sorted.
All right, no problem. Take your time.
All right, I think this is fine. Let me just make sure. Uh, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Fantastic. Uh, let me just. Great. So I'll be taking us through governance, risk, and compliance for SMEs, or compliance policies and regulations for SMEs. And I'd like to crave your indulgence at this time because I know that this topic is quite boring. I'm going to try and make this as interactive as possible. And please feel free to put questions in the chat box while I'm speaking. I won't take too much of your time, even though my slides are quite long. I'll try to keep things short and cute. We've already gotten through my introduction, so I'll just give us the quick agenda, which is a quick, brief introduction to cybersecurity GRC, understanding GRC, uh, ISO 27701, Nigerian Data Protection Act, Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, and internal cybersecurity policies. So, what would we say? Well, I want to get us through introduction to cybersecurity because actually I was meant to speak before the person who spoke last. And I think since he has covered most of the bases on what cybersecurity is, why you should have a good cybersecurity culture, I'll be skipping through my first two slides. And I'll be getting us into cybersecurity governance, risk, and compliance management. So at this point, can I ask, what do we understand as compliance for businesses? I'll be checking in the chat box. Or if anyone wants to speak, that would also be great. Sorry, can you see my slides on the screen?
Yes, we can. We can see them.
Oh, all right. I just want to make sure.
All
Yes. So does anyone want to volunteer information on what they understand to be compliance for their business? How do you understand compliance for your business? Any takers? All right, that's fine. I like to use the layman terms. Is basically following the rules.
Sorry, we have
And
some.
beyond,
We have
okay,
some. We have some on the chat box. You can take a look at that.
okay. Well, I suspect that sharing, I actually have to stop presenting because for some reason I keep getting an infinity screen. Sorry
All right.
about
So
that.
for
Let me
that sake.
separate the tab.
All right. For that sake, you just share only the tab, not the screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
Thank you very
Cool.
much for that. Uh, okay. fantastic. This works. This absolutely works for me. All right, so let me go through the chat box. Adherence to the rules, following the rules, to abide, to follow. Those are very good answers, but I find that just abiding to the rules does not really cover much in terms of like risk management or governance, because when you just follow the rules, it can be as simple as ticking a box. So if your regulator says you must have 10 computers minimum for your small or medium business, you can get 10 computers. That those computers are secure is a different story, is a different case. If your regulator says that every year you must submit a security audit report, you can always get auditors that will just come in and tick the boxes for you, and you submit that to your regulator. While I was practicing law, we had to submit annual returns for businesses every year. And that can be as simple as you just getting your lawyer to report that you didn't make any sales this year and no money went through the business. Whether or not the money went through the business is another situation entirely. But as long as your lawyer has provided that document for you and you've submitted it to the CAC, that's Corporate Affairs Commission, you are good to go. So I want us not to understand compliance from the perspective of ticking boxes, but we should understand it from the perspective of complying even in practice. So let's get into some of the other slides. Again, pardon my constant breaking off and coming back. Yes. So what do we understand as governance? Cybersecurity governance is any policy that you've made internally for your organization that guides and oversees your organization's approach to managing and securing its digital assets. So when you talk of governance, it is internal work. It means your internal security policies that you've made available. It means the processes that you've set for every activity that your organization partakes in. Now, an example of governance is every time you have a new vendor that has to get on your network, if you have it written that a separate guest Wi-Fi must be provided for that vendor, then that's a piece of governance. You've implemented it, your management has signed off on it. Therefore, HR will release it as a policy that everyone must follow. That's basically, you've established a role there for your IT or your network engineer. It also it involves establishing clear roles, responsibilities, and accountability for cybersecurity. So what that means is you have clearly defined persons for certain activities. Who is in charge of managing or administering your network connections? Who is in charge of ensuring that you back up your systems? Who is in charge of ensuring that who is in charge of reporting phishing emails, for instance? Or can I even ask that to the general group? Can you say who you think is in charge of reporting phishing emails or spam, or maybe you feel like your computer has been hacked? Who is in charge of reporting that? Do we have answers in the chat box?
Not yet.
Okay, simple answer to that is the user. But you also need to, okay, security personnel. I know that that's where most people's minds go to, but the person in charge of reporting phishing emails is the person who receives them. Now, you need to have a policy in place for those people to report. Who should they report to? That's the security professional in the organization. Now, when it comes to compliance, we're talking of governance, but like external governance. So that means every industry standard, internal policy, external policies, laws, and guidance provided by the government of the day. You need to comply to them. Therefore, you need to have either external professionals that help you comply, or you have professionals within your organizations that helps you comply to those policies. Now, risk management is a bit on the internal part of things, and this particularly refers to the process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating potential threats and vulnerabilities in your digital environment. For most organizations, you have the red teamers and blue teamers doing this work in cooperation with the governance, risk, and compliance team. But I found that in a lot of small businesses, you may not have an elaborate IT provision or IT staff. So your risk management should be somebody's responsibility. And ideally, that responsibility should come from someone higher up in management. It should come either from whoever handles your finances or whoever handles the legal work. However, they can do that work without communicating with the other stakeholders within the company. So there must be some communication within the IT staff, your developers, your vendors, and every other stakeholder that you can think of in terms of managing your risk. And those whoever is in charge needs to monitor and adapt their strategies and implement security controls to ensure that you are monitoring what's happening on your system. You are adapting to changes that might have been made. Now, nowadays, you find that a lot of organizations are trying to wrap their head around the use of AI in the work that they do. How are you ensuring that people are not using AI to bypass controls that you have on your network? How are you making sure that you are not receiving um, emails that are properly crafted with AI to get access into your information systems? These are things that you consider when it comes to risk management. Another thing is regulatory risk. Are you sure that you're compliant and up to date with all your audits requirements? I know that there are thresholds that you would have crossed for you to need a security audit. But even when you don't submit your annual returns, it can have far-reaching effects on your business, because when people search, let's say you have a KYC session ongoing because you are about to receive a contract. If they go online to CAC's website and they find out that your company is listed as inactive, does that not mean that they can't do business with you? So those are other risks that you need to incorporate when you're running a small to medium enterprise. Again, like I said, my slides are quite long, quite wordy. I think I'm going to be sharing them after this session for your personal viewing pleasure. But let's just get into some of the things that you do to implement governance, risk, and compliance for your business. First is for you to conduct your organization's specific risk assessment. Now, an organization that is into e-commerce is different from one that is into social impact, and is also different from a consulting firm. And a consulting firm can differ from legal consulting to security consulting to IT consulting, which is very different, very distinct from cybersecurity consulting. So you need to make a risk assessment of your business based on your own operations. And there's nobody else that can do it effectively for you except you, the owner of the business. So even when you bring in professionals of risk assessment or risk management professionals to your organization, they still need to work directly with your teams to ensure that they are covering all the bases that might expose you, or all the bases that appear as vulnerabilities within your business. Now, after you conduct that comprehensive risk assessment, you need to create a governance framework. I've seen organizations that have 5 staff try to, I've seen them try to make use CIS framework for their business. Now, the CIS framework is an extensive document. Before you sit down and say you want to read everything that relates to your business, you might be lost. So you need to ensure that the governance framework that you pick is directly related to your kind of business. Now, if you're a cybersecurity consulting firm, definitely you need to comply to ISO 27001. If you don't do an ISO audit, you may not know all the risks that are involved in your operations. You may not even know if you are compliant to industry standards in terms of the cybersecurity consulting work that you're doing. Your advisory will be measured by the compliance that you have to these industry standards. And that's why ISO is advised. But if you're a business operating in Nigeria, you know that you're covered by Nigerian law. Therefore, you need to be compliant to Nigerian Data Protection Act or the NDPR, depending on the kind of information you collect within your business. Now, if we move that ahead and you're an e-commerce business and you process payments or you employ the use of vendors to process payments, then definitely you must comply to PCI DSS, which is the payment card industry standard. So these are just a few of the relevant regulations and standards that you need to align your cybersecurity practices with. You also need to conduct employee security awareness training. I think the last speaker was very, very detailed in terms of what is expected in awareness training. And one training per year does not suffice. Ideally, you should aim for training process that involves phishing tests. And you can do that on a monthly basis if your business is very heavy on dealing with personally identifiable information. Now, if you are not heavy on collecting data like that, you can do every 90 days. You can do refreshers every 90 days. You can even employ the use of some tools like KnowBefore to deploy this training information. You can also carry out external audits and just promote all-round cybersecurity conscious culture. Now, I know that we're very limited on time, but I'm just going to take us quickly through some of the provisions that we have for, what's it called? Some provisions that we have for complying to industry standards. The ISO is arguably one of the most commonly used cybersecurity standards for security professionals. And what it is just the Information Security Management Systems standards. It's a worldwide recognized standard, and its benefits are enhanced security, risk management, legal and regulatory compliance, which I've already mentioned, improved reputation. Like I said, if you're a consulting firm, you're an IT or cybersecurity consulting firm, it is expected that you are ISO compliant. And being ISO compliant is not just carrying out an audit. The organization themselves must certify you compliant to their standards. So it's not enough for you to just get one auditor on the side that'll just say, okay, yes, they are compliant. You should aim for the organization, the standards organization, to recognize your commitment to their values. It also reduces costs for you because if your information systems or your information security management systems are compliant to this standard and compliant in practice. Again, I had said it earlier, we need to be compliant in practice. If you are compliant to this standard, then it's very unlikely that you have a breach, and therefore very unlikely that you lose money as a result of a breach. It also enhances your trust from your customers. If your customers know that whether my information is safe with cybersecurity education initiative, if the beneficiaries of the initiative are aware that when they provide attendance information, it will not be shared over the dark web, then definitely every time cybersecurity education initiative comes and says, please fill out this survey, we're trying to collect data on this particular information, then definitely they would gladly fill those surveys. So that's all on ISO. The Nigerian Data Protection Act is a very new piece of legislation. It was just signed into law. And I would say this in general, don't try to, I won't say that you should try to read everything and comply to everything, because your business, there are some provisions of this act that may not be related to your business. But again, if you collect personally identifiable information, personal data in general, you should aim to at least be compliant to the NDPR. If you are compliant with the NDPR, it's very likely that you've already covered compliance to some of the provisions of the Data Protection Act. So I would always advise that you start first with the NDPR and then move up to the DPA, that's the Data Protection Act. Some of the key provisions is the application of the law, lawful basis of processing personal data. So this act basically ensures that the provision for equitable processing, or what will I say, lawful base for processing data. The lawful basis is already inside the regulation, the NDPR. But this act ensures that when you take someone to court for not using your information for the purpose they collected it, this act provides the punishments for breaking that law. So under the regulation, they might be liable to paying fines, but under this law, they might even have some remand time. So keep that in mind whenever you're collecting information for people. This provision also speaks extensively on children's rights, data privacy impact assessment, which means for certain businesses, because of how much data they collect, they must carry out an impact assessment yearly, or as stipulated in the act. Now, there are special provisions for sensitive personal data, data security, and the rights of a data subject. Even though the NDPR provides regulation on these three parts that I've mentioned, this act is more extensive in its provisions. So if you find yourself in a situation where maybe a vendor has gone past what is required or what they've said they would do with your information, this act is what your legal team should be looking at if they want to defend you. Or vice versa, if a customer makes a complaint against you to the Data Protection Commission saying that you misused the data they provided for you, this act is also what protects you from being liable to such a breach if you haven't committed it, of course. Also, it talks about data transfer to a foreign country. I may not be able to expand on that for now, but you can always check for the provisions with the link that we've provided in the slides. Now we come to the data protection regulation. I want to ask now, you can show by raise of hands, you can raise your hand, you don't have to speak. How many of us have actually read articles or even the regulation itself? How many of us have an idea of what this NDPR provides for? Have you come across it in your operations, or have you had any vendors that have required you to use or to apply the NDPR to your business? Okay, I see one hand up. Okay, one more person. Okay, someone says no. Even though you haven't had a situation that requires you to use this regulation, I want to crave your indulgence. Please, please, and please read the provisions of this document. The reason is because a lot of data flows, personal data flows between organizations, between businesses and their customers. And one thing you wouldn't want is for NITA to be breathing down your back or your neck in terms of a non-compliance issue. Now, you can pay upwards of 10 million naira in fines every year if you are not compliant to this regulation. And I imagine that if you're running a small business, that's a very high amount. That could put your business in debt for years. So the last thing you need is to be found wanting in terms of compliance to this regulation. So please pick it up today. Look for articles written about it to check for the provisions that are important to you. Now, this diagram basically shows you all the things the regulation provides for. We have the data controller, which is your business, data processor, either your vendor or even yourselves. Maybe you have a sales team, they will process your customers' data. And then you have the data subject. Those are the people that are protected under this regulation. When you come down, because your data subject wants to use your service, they provide you with data. Now, the data they provide you, it requires consent. So the organization, that's you, the business, must request the consent of this individual that, oh, we need your phone number to create an account for you. You must request their express consent, which means on your website, your company's website, if they have to sign up to your website, there should always be a provision at the bottom that the information they are providing will only be used for the purposes of what they want to buy or whatever reason they are providing it for. If they are providing that number so you can link it to their bank account, let them know. Make sure that they are consenting, knowing all the variables involved if they provide their data to you. Now, once you've requested that consent, they make the decision to give you the data. And as a data processor, you store that decision. So if it's a cookie policy, allow all or set preferences, always provide it on your website. Also store their consents. If it's something that is advanced, you might want to use the information for marketing purposes later. Let them consent to it. Tell them this information, opt in if you want to be receiving marketing information from us. Always make sure that they make that decision by themselves. Because the last thing you want, people always assume, oh, I'm compliant to this law. But what ends up happening is that they haven't sought the necessary consent from this data subjects, and make sure that the processors are using it for the purpose intended. Now, I also like to tell us that these data subjects have the right to come back to you and say, you see that phone number, that email, everything I've provided to you guys, I don't want it to be on your website again. And you are under obligation to ensure that you delete it after whatever time you've specified within your governance practice. Now, I don't need to go through the key features because I'll be providing the slide for everyone after this. But let's get into security policies for your business. The number one policy you must always have, not or you can consider it. Please always have an acceptable use policy. It can cover a range of other policies. But if you are issuing laptops, phones, or even allowing people to bring laptops or other mobile devices into your network, you must have an acceptable use policy. An onboarding and offboarding policy refers to the businesses that have staff on payroll. If you are getting new staff, there must be a process for onboarding them. And when they leave, there must also be a process for offboarding them. Let me go to the ethics policy. Some people feel like it's not needed, but when you have a business that directly relates to a regulator, for instance, or a client that likes to give gifts, this ethics policy can protect you from anti-bribery regulation. Because if you did not specify that you can only accept $50 and under or $100 and under, a potential partner can give your staff funds or even other material gifts that are amounting to a huge sum in return for a favor. Now, that favor can be at the detriment of your organization or your business itself. So ensure that you have an ethics policy. Some other policies you can have is email retention, bring your own device policy, or incident handling response policy. Now, all these policies, you don't have to do the work of drafting it from scratch. SANS Institute has a repository where you can find these policies. And I want to believe that a link was provided in this slide as well. So based on that, I think that brings us to the end of this session. Do we have any questions, any concerns? I have about 2 minutes to answer them before I drop off.
All right, thank you very much, Ruala. So if you have any questions, any additions you like to add, please kindly drop it on the chat box. Just kindly signify by raising up your hand so we can give you the mic and you can ask your question. And you can as well use the Slido to actually drop those questions. Do we have anyone? All right. Ifuna, I hope you're able to get a pin or two from these.
Yes, I did. I got a lot. I hope every other person is learning as much as I am from this session. For instance, I have learned now that I shouldn't just get started on any governance, but I should make sure it's kind of related to my business. So if I
Yes.
have an e-commerce business and doing payments and relating with payment card, I should do the PCI DSS. Or if
Yes.
I'm handling personal information, I should get started with the MDPR. And also, it's very important to be compliant because, amongst other things, it will build trust for your users and your clients. Thank you so much, Rola. I okay. Someone is asking about the rules and regulation and asking what the name of the Nigerian law is. I believe that's
The Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. I believe that's what you're asking about. And the Data Protection Act. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
very much for having me.
All right, thank
So
you very much, Ruala. Go ahead,
this
Ifuna.
this slide and the others will be shared after the workshop, and you'll learn a lot more from it. All right, we have a sponsor section because I mean, without Trend Micro, this event wouldn't be held today. I have been learning a lot. I hope you all are learning a lot as well. So we
Yes,
have
we
a
have.
trend. We have a trend representative with us. He's a cybersecurity engineer with experience and qualification in multiple IT domains, including cloud security, networking, Linux, and a lot more. At Trend Micro, he leverages his expertise to implement robust cybersecurity solutions that safeguard organizations against cyber threats. Today, he will show us how to take charge of our risks with attack surface risk management. For the sponsor section, please clap. Please clap. Welcome Tolu Banji Idowu, an associate system engineer at Trend Micro.
With a round of applause for Tulu.
Thank you, Funaya. Thanks, Toby. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good time.
Here we are. Good afternoon,
Yes, we
Tulu.
are.
Okay, sorry, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, just to confirm, can anyone see
Yeah,
my
we
screen?
can. Yeah, we can see the screen,
Alright.
Tulu.
Thank you. Okay, so thanks for the introduction, Funaya. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tuluwanimi Emmanuel Banjido. I'm an associate systems engineer at Trend Micro. And today we'll be looking at the topic taking charge of your risk with ASRM, which is the attack surface risk management. As we all know, the cybersecurity landscape is ever evolving, right? From the speakers that have spoken so far, you hear about things like ransomware, phishing, malware, and different types of threats that tend to attack the ecosystem, that is the cyber ecosystem, right? And it's becoming really hard to protect your attack surface against all of these threats and risk that we're exposed to. So you might then now ask then, how can we now address this problem, right? How can we make it more manageable and ultimately take charge of this risk in a more meaningful and actionable way? But before we get into that, just to give a brief glance at who Trend Micro is. So Trend Micro is a cybersecurity company with over 30 years experience in the IT industry. And over the last 3 decades, we have become a market leader in hybrid cloud, networking, endpoints, and also small business security. And we have grown into a strong, formidable global company. And we are today with more than $2 billion in revenue from 2022 and more than 7,500 trenders around the globe. And we have been able to achieve astounding results with 9 out of 10 top 10 Fortune Global 500 companies trusting Trend Micro with their security. And it doesn't stop there. And like we anticipated and prepared for the move to the cloud, because we all know the cloud is the major thing that everyone are moving to from on-premises to the cloud, right? As we anticipated this move, we will continue to anticipate shifts in the landscape to help you take charge of any new challenges you might tend to face. So back to today's topic, taking charge of your risk with attack surface risk management. The attack surface is all your cyber assets, quite all right, from your things like endpoints to storage to containers, and also all the attack vectors that could tend to exploit these cyber assets within your environment. And when it comes to your attack surface, there's always this impending need that you need to protect your assets, right, from these attackers. So we can no longer consider the assets as your traditional assets, which is just your servers, your endpoints, as just your cyber assets. In today's ecosystem, you look at things like your identities, your mobile devices, your IoT. And from the first video we watched that the keynote speaker showed us, or sorry, during the break session, about people working from home and things like that. So these are things you need to consider because you're not just looking at your laptop being in the corporate network. It goes beyond that. Now people work from home, you take your laptop home, you connect to your printers at home and things like that. So all of these are sort of more or less an interconnected network, right? So your traditional attack surface goes beyond that nowadays, right? you have IoT, the OT, and your cloud infrastructure, and so on. So we're sort of faced with, I could liken it to a perfect storm, in the sense that in one hand, you have your cyber assets in your organization, right? And in the other hand, in the other section, you have attackers who continue to look for new noble ways to infiltrate and exploit these cyber assets within the environment, which brings to the point for us that we need to understand our attack surface. And we need to ask questions like things like which assets within our environment make this an easier challenge for attackers to exploit, right? How impactful would it be if that specific assets were to be compromised? Does that particular host, right, that has this sensitive asset, if it was compromised, does it belong to a VIP, that's a very important person, or employee within your organization, like an executive? And even for small business and for small-term businesses, is that asset belonging to or connecting to other devices within your environment, right? So these are things that you need to have like questions on when you're trying to evaluate the risk that certain assets, if they're exposed to or compromised, would lead to, right? So, and before you can answer these questions, more or less, you need to have an understanding of your risk, your skills, the resources, and also available tools in your organization. Having those resources, tools, and skills would then now look at the difficulty as to what the answers that you will need to provide, ranging from tedious to impossible. Am I able to answer these questions? So the tools, the skills, and the resources would give you an understanding if you're able to answer these questions I posed. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. So a study conducted by ESG, I think that was in 2022, showed that 69% of organizations lack full exposure or visibility into their attack surface. And out of this percentage, 31 of them discovered hidden sensitive data in unknown locations within their environment. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that almost 70% of these organizations, right, experience some sort of attacks from unknown and misconfigured assets. So put it in simple layman terms, you can't defend what you don't know about, right? So if you don't have an idea that this particular asset exists within your environment, if you don't have an idea that, okay, there is a particular, even if it's as little as a printer, right? Even if, let's say, for instance, now your organization has like 2 or 3 floors, and there's a particular printer that's not been accounted for, right, within your network. As little as it is, if an attacker were to infiltrate your network, gain access to it, they will be able to laterally move within your network, move from one point to another point within your network, right? And all of these assets, they are, as little as they are much important in safeguarding your cyber environment or your attack surface, right? So hence, there's this emerging priority for security organizations to, like Trend Micro, to implement tools that can help better them, right, and assess their attack surface of these organizations on a continual basis as a means to help reduce the possibilities for attacks and breaches within this environment. So Trend Micro, how can we come in to help? How can we come in to assist with this? We can help. You can leverage on Trend Micro to pivot away from a reactive approach to a more proactive approach in your attack surface risk management. And when I mean reactive in the sense that most organizations might see and notice a breach or an attack, then they now have mitigation steps put into place to safeguard against these attacks, right? To see, okay, how can they try to minimize the damage that's already occurred, or how can they minimize or stop this particular attack from moving from one endpoint to another endpoint, that is moving from one computer to another computer. If it's a ransomware, how can they safeguard or salvage the files that have already been that are about to be encrypted, or how can they even decrypt it, right? So that's a reactive approach. But when you leverage on things from a proactive point of view, you would be able to proactively approach and identify potential problems before they even become serious events. So this is the 3 stages of the attack surface risk management lifecycle. and ARCRM. So the ARCRM capabilities cover the full attack surface, risk lifecycle, which you're able to provide a more comprehensive approach to understanding and managing your cyber risk. And we will look more in-depthly into this, each of this cycle along the way. So the first is more or less eliminating the blind spots. That is discovering your attack surface, right? So to dig a little bit into this, we leverage on our existing products within your environment. For instance, now if you already have like a Threat Micro solution within your environment, or you don't, right? You can also leverage on sensors, like existing sensors within your environment. So Threat Micro combines like multiple techniques to get a handle of all the various assets across your network, both on-prem, both in the cloud, and even SaaS applications, right? Like for instance, like Nitro PDF. Let's say, for instance, you leverage on using tools that you can, let me use a simpler one, like Google Doc, right? So these are things that we can account for. The Microsoft 365, your Outlook, your SharePoint, and things like that. So if we already provide protection for this assets, right, then we'll be able to use this information in order to have more visibility into your environment. To be able to understand that, okay, where is this particular server connected to? What's the IP? What's the MAC address? Is it behind the proxy? Is it on the cloud? Is it on premises? So we'll be able to identify the placement of each of those unknown, and also internal and internet-facing assets within your environment. But before we can do all of this, like I mentioned, we leverage on existing products, or you could also install sensors, right, into your environment to be able to discover a large set of managed and unmanaged assets within your environment. With that, we'll be able to have visibility into, like I said, your environment, right? So there are two approaches that we can take to get this done. The first one is the inside-outside approach. That is, we'll be able to discover your attack surface from within your network. And for us to be able to get that done, we leverage on those existing products and sensors. Then the other one is the outside-in view. And for this to be done, is more or less like an external attack surface, right? So you provide us with one or two domains that you currently have that is internet-facing. Then we can then now provide results based on this, like the hosts, the subdomains, the IP address that are publicly facing. And we do this with an internet scan, right? More or less like reconnaissance, but from an outer point of view. And only can we then now discover additional and unknown assets to complement whatever has been found internally within your network. And you can literally say that, okay, I have visibility from outside my network. I have visibility from inside my network. I think that should cover most of the assets within the attack surface, right? But arguably, what if you have third-party products? Let's say, for instance, I have I'm leveraging on other like third-party security solutions, quite all right, within my environment. How can I still get visibility into that assets, right? So one thing about Threat Micro is that we're big on third-party integration, in the sense that we do not just rely on trained technology alone, but we also get help from the ecosystem. That we encourage and leverage third-party integration, such as the Azure AD, the Okta, Splunk, and others, in which would aid in discovering even more assets to give you more complete view of your total attack surface. Quite all right. So the next stage, more or less, or the next cycle, is understanding your risk and exposure. So once we have been able to discover and deliver a rich view of your attack surface based on the assets that we found internally and externally facing to your organization, we can then now start to give you context and insight into this risk that has been identified. For each of this, and how do we do this, you might ask, for each of this type of assets, we combine the data, or you can just say telemetry data, right, from all the data sources. Like I mentioned earlier, we have data sources like our existing products within your environment, sensors that you might have installed within the environment, or even third-party solutions within the environment, right? We combine all of this data for us to be able to understand the likelihood of the assets being attacked due to its level of exposure and the impact if this attack is based on its severity. And is this particular asset, if you remember some of the questions that we highlighted earlier for the attack surface, is that particular asset connected to other devices? So these questions, when they're being answered, forms the risk score for each of these individual assets. And how we do this, we do it asset by asset. So we profile each of these assets within the environment, from your laptops to your servers to your containers to any device literally that can literally have an IP assigned to it or not, right? We were able to get information about it, define a risk score for it, and then now see how we can leverage on this risk score to assess and prioritize this risk. So for instance, you don't have to go through the process of fatigue of analyzing each of these assets. Okay, which one has a higher severity? We get all of that done for you. So even if you're connecting it and sending that information to a third party or even your executive for them to have an executive report, then you're able to prioritize the risk. So you have where to start from and how to start from. We also provide recommendations, right? So after the risk has been gotten, we provide recommendations and guided steps, right? Which we will see in the next slide. So just to give an example of how we prioritize and mitigate this risk, right, using the risk reduction measures. First, we want to be able to set a certain goal, quite all right, because for you to be able to mitigate this risk within the environment, you need to have a goal. The goal could be, okay, I would like for us to meet industry standards, right? Let's say you work in the banking sector. There are certain standards that you should meet, right, based on the risk level. So based on that standard, we want to be able to ensure that we meet that standard or even above the standard in one way or the other. Or you could set a goal whereby you want to tackle the 10 most impactful risks that we have been able to identify within your environment. Or even more so, you could leverage on using custom risk reduction goals, because you can want to fine-tune an existing goal and say, okay, this is how we want to ensure that we are not liable to certain risk within the environment. Because if you're completely being honest, there's nothing like 0% risk. Everything has its risk, from even a user, quite all right, using an endpoint or using a laptop and clicking on an email. That email could have a risk attached to it, in the sense of, what if there's a URL that's embedded within a text and a hyperlink, and he clicks on it and redirects him somewhere, or he clicks on it and he shares the cookie session with an attacker, and that attacker was able to leverage on that to pry into sensitive information and data. So every single thing has risk. So you can't see an organization and say, oh, there's zero risk within this organization. Is then how you then prioritize this risk, how you then now decide that, okay, this is how we want to tackle each and every single one of them, and even also understand the impact of that risk. So these are things you need to consider. What's the impact, right? What if that thing was exposed? What are we liable to lose? What is the fallback from this, right? So if you're able to set and have clear goals, it makes it much more easier for you to then now tackle this risk within your organization. So we then now organize this identified risk, sort them by the top ones, and we'll then now attain the goal of reducing, because the end goal of identifying this risk was to reduce your overall risk the most. So for each of these prioritized risk identified, we provide remediation steps, right, or action plans to ensure that you know where to begin from, so you are not just lost in the wind of how you would mitigate against these things. So as I was saying earlier, the prioritization, and with that you'll be able to mitigate this risk based on the recommendations of the likelihood of the breaches and things like that, right? But yes, the risk, what if, you might ask the question, what if that risk is a lot? How can we then mitigate them manually? that's going to be stressful, right? Depending on the assets that you have within your environment. But for small business enterprises, it might be much more easier if you automate the process, in the sense that you don't have to worry about having to click on the dashboard and log in once in a while and things like that, right? Just automate the process that would allow you to automate these recommendations that have been forthcoming of this risk, right? So we also aim to ensure that you can sorry about that. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So you also aim to ensure that you can remove the operational burden of needing to take action on this manually through security playbooks. You can liken playbooks to automations, right? Things that you can automate. Let's say, for instance, you realize that a particular endpoint has a particular vulnerability, right? You can create an automation tool that would send an email to a more or less like the team responsible for mitigating that particular risk, or identifying the end user that, okay, we found that your system is vulnerable to this. Please, can you bring it in so we can check it out and see how we can mitigate it? Or we say that, okay, there are certain patches that Microsoft have released for your Windows endpoints that you have not yet installed on. Please bring that endpoint in, or provide them the steps to go about mitigating it. And you also get feedback on this in real time in the sense that if that particular user has already provided this, gone through the recommendation steps and installed, let's say, for instance, installed the Microsoft patch that was warranted to be installed on that system, right? Whatever vulnerabilities that were there on it before, you get feedback on that. Has this thing particularly been done the right way? Has it not been done? So you can like follow up on that particular user and tell them, okay, we noticed that you tried to do this, but it wasn't done correctly. Please provide more insight into what you did, and how can we then now assist you with getting it done. Or you could also, depending on the issue, right, you could also take care of this from your own end, from the manager's end, or for whoever is heading the security team within your enterprise, right? You can always try to get that sorted out from that point of view. So right here is an example of a security playbook, and you can see one of them was account with weak authentication. Maybe the user has tried to sign in with a password that was weak, and they recommend and did not go through with the recommended password policy, right? You send a notification to either that user, or you can send a notification through a ticketing system. So give an example of one of the third-party integrations that we support, Jira Service Desk. So that's one of the things that we can support. So next, for instance, you already have Jira Service Desk within your environment, right? We're able to leverage on that to send support ticketing mails to the appropriate team responsible for resolving that particular issue, right? And other basic tasks that you could carry out within your environment. So we highlighted and talked about the proactive approach, right? So how can you then, because traditionally speaking, you also need to invite the XDR and the ASRM. The XDR more or less is the extended detection response. That is the reactive approach, and the ASRM is the attack surface risk management. That is the proactive approach. So there's interoperability between the two, in the sense that you can combine both of them to work hand in hand to ensure that your attack surface is safe, right? So one of the advantage of the ASRM, Trend Micro's ASRM, is that you can use it's part of the broader Vision One platform, right? And I mentioned Vision One earlier. It's more or less in Vision One, Trend Vision One more or less started off as our XDR solution, and we grew on that solution in the sense that we engaged customers and asked them what they wanted to be in that solution. So that solution or that platform provides security for your endpoints, your containers, your workloads, your servers, and your identities, cutting down across Microsoft 365 and the likes, right? So it's more or less like a like a platform, right? A family of solutions combined together. So if and in that solution you have the ASRM and the XDR, right? And they work hand in hand with each other. So when you enable the ASRM and the XDR from a single console using the same set of sensors, so the XDR also leverages on the sensors that I highlighted earlier as our existing products within the environment, the sensors you might tend to install, and also the third-party tools. So both of these ASRM and XDR, they leverage on those existing sensors to ensure that you are safe, your attack surface is safe. So the more proactive risk prioritization and mitigation, the fewer security incidents the security team has to respond to. So the ASRM provides the prioritization of risk, right? And if you leverage on that with the XDR, if that risk is prioritized, you don't need to go all the way to having to mitigate it. If you treat it now and then before it becomes a serious incident, you don't have to worry about the XDR point of view on that particular risk on that asset because it's already been handled. And likewise, detection data collected by the XDR. So in a situation whereby there was already a breach, right, and you flagged it, that detection data, how you handled it, the steps you took to investigate it, and how you responded, that information is provided to the ASRM. So it's like more or less back and forth. Provides that information to the ASRM. And when it provides information to the ASRM is able to understand the current defenses that you have put in place within your environment, right? And how were you able to mitigate this action, or how are you able to respond to this threat, right? It understands it, and it then now looks at provides insight into your attack surface and say, okay, this is how we're able to respond to this. How can we now provide a more effective way to detect it and discover those risks from the ASRM point of view? So you see that they work hand in hand with each other, right? They can stand, sure, quite all right. They can stand separately, and they can work as separate. They can work separately, right, into providing context into your attack surface and the protection for it. Quite all right. But it's more or less they need to work hand in hand to ensure that things are your current defenses are coping and effective. So by bringing each together with Vision One, we can offer a single place where teams can work hand in hand across their borders to close the gaps between the threat detection and response. So what we currently have here is more or less showing you when an asset or is being assessed, right? We weigh the likelihood of a successful attack against the potential of that attack. As you can see here, these are things that we put into account, from vulnerabilities, exposure, to the configurations that have been set on those assets, and also the threats, right? When we get those information, we tend to look at it from a point of view that, okay, now we have this information, how can we now reduce potential attacks? And how can we then validate that those existing assets that we have within our environment would not lead to a likelihood of a successful attack? And when we're able to get this information, we're able to identify things like misconfigured systems, risky user behavior. Because, for instance, you can look at a particular user saying that, okay, I am currently in Nigeria today, and in the next 2 or 3 minutes, there is a request to log on from Japan, in Japan, right? Like, how's that possible? How did I travel all the way down there to request a log on? So, right, these are things that you tend to look out for, risky user behavior. So, and we look at those things and flag them, right? So, and that's more or less under the risk that you might tend to face, right? If there's a brute force attack from another country on your account, right? So these are the things that we tend to put into place, and we get more or less look at the business value. What's the impact of outage? What I think, well, if that particular endpoint that's connected to multiple devices gets impacted, how will it affect other devices within your environment? What's the return on investment or things like that, right? So we try to weigh the two of them, and also provide reduced potential on severity of that attack. So that's more or less covers the ASRM capabilities provided by Trend Micro Vision One or Trend Vision One. But for business, I feel that for small businesses or small medium businesses, right, they can leverage on some of these capabilities, if not the framework itself, but having to understand the questions to ask in order for them to be secure and to also validate and access their attack surface, because there's this continuous need for them to be able to understand the um, the three factors, right? To discover the assets, to give context and insight into the risk on those assets, and how can they now perform mitigations or recommendations against these assets. So those are the three things, and it's a continuous cycle, right? The three of them are intertwined. So if you're able to understand those three, you'll be able to get insight into how to be more proactive with safeguarding your cybersecurity assets within your attack surface. And also, as I think some of the speakers also highlighted the need for you to have insight into and providing training on phishing awareness. Uh, there was a particular report or study that showed that 94% of attack entry into your environment starts with an email, right? Because you can have a user that does not really have much insight into phishing emails and things like that. So users are more or less the weakest link in the cybersecurity strategy. So while you cannot patch users as you can patch endpoints, you can help them become better at phishing attacks, right? So we have a tool in Trend Micro, which is the Phishing Insights. It's a phishing simulation and awareness service, which is completely free for all sizes of organizations. And it takes about 5 minutes or so to start a realistic phishing campaign, leveraging on the existing templates to mimic real life or real world scenarios. You can customize the templates as you choose fit according to your organization standard. And you can then now leverage on this to train and provide scenarios for phishing attacks to your existing employees, right? For them to be able to understand how this phishing attack works, right? And with this platform, you're able to monitor the results to see who clicked on it, entered maybe credentials, even try to log on or even open attachments depending on the template, right? And as you run this campaign on a regular basis, you can view the results over time. And also when you flag that, okay, this particular set of users, right, fell for the phishing awareness training, there's also a couple of videos that you can watch to educate them and provide insight into how to go about understanding and tackling the whole be more proactive, right, with the whole phishing attack. And I think the last one is also the cybersecurity assessment service. You can leverage on this for users that have a Microsoft 365, like your Outlook. You can leverage on this for a free security assessment service. You can scan your Microsoft 365 inbox and endpoints to gauge their overall security posture and have insight into vulnerabilities that they might tend to have. And nonetheless, you can also generate a report that you can share with your stakeholders for them to say, okay, we carried out an assessment and we found that we currently have this and this vulnerabilities within our environment. And also it provides remediation steps that you can take, right? So for those considering having insight into this assessment, this is the URL to sign up and get started with it. So thank you very much. I hope you were able to, I wasn't able to bore you, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Billy. We learned a lot about attack surface from this informative session. For me, that statement, you can't defend what you don't know, really key, because how would you defend what you don't know, as the statement I just said? Thank you, Tolu. So we understand now that attack surface risk management is the starting point to building your security posture, your cyber security culture, protecting yourself from cyber threats, and even being compliant. So you should discover your attack surface, you should assess and prioritize risks, and you should mitigate those risks. I hope you guys all learned something.
Yes, we did.
Thank
We definitely learned something. Thank you very much, Tolu, for giving us that very nice talk about the trend micro product. And it's really fascinating what these solutions can actually do to help secure small businesses as well. So really do appreciate you for that. You can as well check the chat board for all the necessary links in regards to these presentation. So we really do appreciate you for taking our time to be with us here today. Thank you very much, Tolu.
Thank you.
All right. We have the last session for today. We've gotten a lot of insight and strategies from all of the different speakers, but we're not ending there. In this last session, we'll be having a hands-on decision-making session in cybersecurity, led by the no other but Oluwatobi Ayodele.
All right. So thank you very much for that. So if you have any question, please drop it on the Slido so we can just take it at the end of all the sections. Yeah. So I'm gonna be starting my own presentation right about now. But before we do that, I want everyone to go to this link. If please help me drop the link on the chat board. All right, so or you can scan the barcode. All right, so go to that link or you can scan the barcode. And once you're done, please kindly let me know so we can start. All right, so I'm going to start the slide. Sorry. All right. So if you're there with us, I will know. All right. So if you've clicked on that link or if you've gone to that link, so kindly signify that you are here with us. So are you with us? So just two response. We are close to about it's HTTP, but trust me, it's secured. Yeah, no confidential information is being sent through that channel. It's just for you to click. So please rest assured that is also secured. All right, so I just want to know how many of us are here with us before we go ahead because this is supposed to be a tabletop section. All right, so I want everyone to be here. So we only have 5. No, we have 25. So I need 20 more persons. All right, so if you can get to half, then we'll just get to start. All right, kindly use the link dropped. All right, so if you have, please kindly drop the link through as well again. So for those that have not. So, all right, so that's the link there for you to be part of this section we're about to go into. All right, so. All right, so we have only 8, so we're gonna move regardless. So I hope we have 10 by the time we start. All right, so kindly confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about decision making and cybersecurity. So we've learned about a whole lot about what we need to do to stay safe online and what we need to do to run a very secure business. All right, so give me a minute, please. So now what we're going to be moving into is how to make those secured decisions. Yeah, because those are what we will need as security, should I say business owner, to be able to go by our daily routines. All right, so today's agenda, I'll just run through this very quick. We're going to be talking about what is security, the efforts that affect decision makings, and we're going to make decisions and we'll go through some questions and answer. So let's just start. All right. So I still have only 14 responses, by the way. So I look forward to full participation from everyone. So what is security? Can anyone just drop on the chat board what they know by security or what they feel security is all about? All right, so I'll be looking forward to that. Kindly drop on the chat board what you feel security is all about. What's this whole security we've been talking about, and how does it affect us? So kindly drop on the chat board. All right, someone said proactive measures. Yeah, protection of valuable assets. Yeah. So all right, so those are very, should I say, valid inputs. But I have one very defined definition I like to go by: state of being free from danger. All right, that's great. So that's very close to what I have in mind. Yeah, so security is a continuous effort to keep a system in a secure state. Did we get that? So security is just a continuous effort to keep a system in a secure state. So we're putting so many efforts in place to put a system in a secure state. That is what security is all about. So businesses, devices, products, whatever we're doing that we're putting in a secure state, be it a facility, that's what security is all about. So we're going to go into what security are, what are those efforts that we put in place to actually make sure these things are in secure state. Number one thing is the people, the human capacity. Someone talked about training, and someone talked about training. One of the speakers talked about training. Yeah, so in these people, the human capacity. So those are some of the efforts that businesses will actually put in place to ensure security is in a secure state. Cybersecurity falls under three pillars: the people, the process, and the technology. People being the fact that they are the one that interacts with these systems, they're the one that interact with these data, they interact with the technology we're using to protect. So the people, so adequate skills members, as well as sufficient staffing. So I'm supposed to add that training to as well. All right, so having skilled members, but for small businesses, we're just going to stick with training. So how often do you train your staff on security? Okay, how often do they get those trainings, and do we have sufficient staff to actually man some of those positions? Because as business begin to grow, you need to be able to put someone in charge of your security and say, oh guy, this is your own forte, this is your own duty to actually carry out security best practices for us. All right, so the second effort is the process, administrative effort. That's what we call it. All right, appropriate policies and management systems. We're allowed to talk about policy governance in our own talk. So those are some of the things that fall under the process categories of the effort to put in place to actually secure the systems. All right, so we're going to go to organizational culture. So someone, Mr. Steven, talked about culture, right? Building a robust security culture falls under the processes. How do we change? How do we exchange data? What do we do in terms of data transfer and all? So all of those things fall under the effort. So our policy, our cultures, our business objectives fall under the process aspect. So the last thing is of technology, which I believe what Tulu was emphasizing on, the technology that makes sure that our securities are in place. All right, so we have the security tools, the emerging controls, the access controls, you name it. So we have different, should I say, technology in place: antivirus, the endpoint detection and response, the intelligence X that Trend Micro just told us about. So they have a whole lot of products that can help secure. So that's why cybersecurity is based on these three pillars: the people, process, and technology. All right, so the people control the technology, the process now creates that synergy within all these different efforts in place. All right, so which should have the highest priority? All right, so please kindly go to that link you clicked on. So I'll be expecting responses from all of us. So kindly check your phones, all right, for you to give me that response. All right, so I want to know what we want. What do we place as the highest priorities? The people, the process, or the technology? So please, we only have one response. We need more response, please. Okay. So which is it for you? The people, the process, or the technology? Do I gain more people? Do I improve my processes? Do I get more tools? Do I get more technology to actually protect? So which should have the highest priority? So we have 6 persons participating. The last poll had 15. So I guess I'm going to be needing more here. All right. So I need to know what your inputs are, or rather what you feel should have the highest priority. We as business owners here today, we need to be able to know what we are going to focus on. So I want to just get your own concept around that before we move ahead. All right, since we only have 7, I'll just go with that 7 to save us of time. All right, so we have 6 people saying the people. We have 1 person saying the process, and we have 1 person saying the technology. All right, so I'm going to share a different slide from what I shared the other time, because there's one particular effort that Pierre is mentioning I didn't actually put, that in which all these other ones rely on. All right, so which is what? The last effort, money, the financial effort. So with all those things in place, all right, with all those things in place, the people, the process, the technology, there's one thing that has the limited resources there. That is what? Money. All right, so money being a limited resources, all right, because we don't have enough of it. We need to share it out evenly among all these pillars of cybersecurity. So I ask you again, which should have the highest priority? Kindly check your phones and make that poll or make the vote so we can actually see what should have the highest priority, given the fact that we have limited resources. Do I employ more people? Do I optimize my processes? Or do I get more technology, given the fact that I have little to no money, presenting on what the budget is? Okay, so we have 3 says technology, we have 2 say process, we have 1 person say people. I like it. All right, so you see, the scale is changing. Earlier we had people, now we are having technology and having more. All right, so let's see. Okay, we have technology this time around having more. I can understand that. Okay, but let's just have more persons draw in their polls rather. All right, process, people, technology. All right, great stuff. Great stuff. All right, so I completely understand this. Given the fact that we have limited resources, we need more technology, because with technology now we can actually adapt things with processes, we can improve on things. So now I'm going to ask us a very funny question, so let's just see. All right, so this is the other slide. Now we have so much technology here right now. Yeah, we have so much technology here. So we have the DLP, we have the vulnerability manager, we have the WAF and the firewall, the DDoS, the EDR, the MFA. We have so much security technologies in place here, but we have a user, a people person, or a people in this regards. So in this picture, yeah, who used to be blamed? So kindly check your phone and make that poll again. So we have, I want you to tell me who is to be blamed in this regard. All right, so in regards to that picture we earlier shared, who used to be blamed? Is it the people? Is it the process? Is it the technology? All right, so I believe we're having people, we're having process. So nobody's actually blaming the technology. That's quite understandable. Yeah. So now some persons will blame the people, some persons blame the process. So whichever is just based on your own level of understanding. Yeah. So for me, I believe it's okay. Someone said the technology. Okay, we're gonna blame the technology here too. So we have people, process, and technology. So kindly use the Slido link to just drop your reason why you feel one of these your answers. Anyone that selected people or process or technology, you can use the Slido. If Funaya is going to drop that link to tell us your reason why. Okay, why you feel the people is at fault in these regards. All right, so just move forward. All right, so going forward, just as a quick one. All right, so this is a quick two rather. Yeah. So for us to have a well-informed decision making, or for us to be able to make well-informed decisions. We have been able to gather knowledge from our speakers, experience, and now contextual understanding. We go into how we implement this. All right, so let me break it down for you. Yeah, so it's one thing, it's knowledge. Yeah, it's knowledge for you to know that tomato is a fruit. Are you with me? It's experience for you to know what tomatoes taste like. Then it's now falls down to contextual understanding and intelligence that you know you don't put tomato in a fruit salad. That's because you know it's a fruit, you know what it tastes like, all right? And now it now boils down to your contextual understanding of the two different premise that came before. Then you know that definitely I can't put a tomato in a fruit salad, yeah? So that is what we're trying to do here, mixing all the things we've learned today and learning from other people's experience for us to be able to make well-informed security decisions. Now, I was reading a journal about decision-making in cybersecurity and some of the biases that affect it. So that's how I'm going to play a simulation today. All right, that simulation will just help us. We'll just play the simulation to get a basic understanding of what we are going to of decisions we can make. So that's going to be based on experience, because some of us might not have experienced some of those should I say security incidences, so we might not be able to picture ourselves in it. So that's why we're going to be using a simulation to actually do this, so we can all be on the same page. All right, so now let's make some decisions here. So that's the next phase before we just call it a day. Now, we're going to be using Delphi techniques. I learned this while I was taking my CISSP. So this basically just means anonymous feedback and response used to enable a group to reach an anonymous consensus. So that's how I'm making use of that poll, because nobody knows who is selecting which. So it's just for us to be able to arrive on a defined goal. Now we're going to be using this game. This game is from our sponsor Trend Micro. Yeah, so it's called With Targeted Attack, the game. All right, I'll just give you a few minutes for you to read through it, for you to understand what we are going to be doing. So I can still read it for you though. So we want to put you in the driving seat. You are going to be the chief information officer of a global organization called Fugo. On the verge of making the first release of a biometrically authenticated mobile payment app. You will steer the project through its final stage, dealing with your internal security team, your colleagues in marketing, PR, and of course, your CEO. So this is just putting us in a situation whereby we have to make security decisions, all right, based on our knowledge, based on the experience we are going to have, and it's going to be based on our own contextual understanding. So the question is, are you ready? So kindly go to your mobile phones and answer the question if you are ready, so we can start the game. We have, okay, let me share that. So are we ready? We just have 3 persons ready, and we have over 25 persons on this call. So please, we'll need more persons to show that they're ready for us to go ahead. Kindly use the link, Abu Bakar. So if Funaya will drop the link, and you will use that poll to actually make your inputs. We're going to be using that poll going forward in this other section for us to be able to make a well-informed decision. And now let me tell you what we are going to be doing. Now, we have a scenario and everyone is going to make a decision. So whichever persons or whichever the audience select as the highest input, that is what we are going to go with as our decision. So if they say, oh, the CIO is supposed to make this statement, and we all agree that this is the statement the CIO should make, then we're going to go with that. So we only have 6 persons out of 25. All right, please kindly use that link, get on board so we can get started in ASAP. So I'm going to start it right away, so we can go ahead. So
new revolutionary technologies are still to come. Thanks to the Fugal, you can already pay with your fingerprint. And this is just the beginning. The present, the future, the Fugal.
Okay, that would be all. Thank you for for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this.
Dave. Dave, listen, I know the new service is very important to the future for Fugle, but I'm a little concerned that we should spend more time addressing the security issues.
What do you mean by security issues? Are there any?
Not yet, at least none that we know about. The thing is, I'm not 100% convinced that the application is completely secure.
We are revolutionizing the mobile payments market. I'm sure we'll run into some small problems, but you and I together can surely handle it, right? Let's play. The success of this project is in your hands. Every choice you make will have an outcome on the success and the security of Fugle Incorporated. What should we do?
So now we have three options right in front of us. Kindly go to your mobile phone. I believe you have been able to look at the scenario. The security manager had an issue. So now we have three options to make. All right. So the first option says outsource to a third party to help us identify security issues, ones related to the app, postpone the launch of this app and work on it internally, release on schedule and address any vulnerability with updates. Kindly note that there's what we call the trend microcoin here that will affect your decision. This is your budget. All right, so this budget is represented in the red trend microcoins above. So what should the security manager do, or rather the CIO do in this regard? So our options is welcome. So we have the first option which says outsource to a third party. So I believe we are all seeing it. The second option says postpone the launch of the app and work on it internally. The third option says release on schedule and address any vulnerability with updates. So as a business owner and you have an app coming up, so what will be your decision if your security manager tells you he has a security concern? Let me share my screen so you can see the inputs coming in. So we can actually make our votes. So I'm going to share back the poll. So for those of us not seeing, the first one says outsource to a third party. The second one says postpone the launch. The third one says release on schedule and address any vulnerability with updates. All right. So a larger percentage of us, because I'm going to be based on time, since this is the only input we are getting, we're going to be going with the highest option here, which says we are going to be releasing on schedule and addressing any vulnerability with updates. So we're just going to go with that option and see where that leads us.
I think you're being overcautious. Just get a grip and get it done. Everyone and their uncle is patching stuff on the fly right now. Just go ahead and release it.
All right, it's your call, boss, but I strongly advise that we at least give some more thought to this. Can we at least meet and talk more about the possibilities later?
Okay, then we'll just meet after lunch.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Randall.
Dave, hey, I know it might be costly, but listen, we can't afford not to do something. This application is going to turn the payments world upside down, and the smallest hint of a vulnerability, and the users are just gonna desert us.
Okay, so what are our options?
Right.
All right, so you can actually just go to your mobile phones and just select which you feel is the right option in this regards now. So are we still outsourcing to a third party to help us identify any of our security issues? Are we investing in some security, in some vulnerability scanning tools? Are we doing peer-to-peer review of code using our own in-house developers? And mind you, we have limited resources called the Trend Micro Coins right above. So what are we going with? So, all right, so let me just show you what we have on our screen here. All right, so what we have on our screen here, let me show you that. So we have a larger percentage saying we should actually go with a vulnerability scanner. All right, so we still have that input coming, so I will just keep it open. So the first option say outsource to a third party, invest in some vulnerability scanning tools, peer reviews of our own in-house peer review of code using our own in-house tools. So let me see those options again. All right, so let me see what we have here as our final verdicts. So we have a larger percentage saying we should go with option 3, and which is what we are going to go with, given our time. So we're going to go with a peer review of code using our own in-house tools. So I believe a larger percentage of us want us to manage our resources better. So we're going to be going with this.
Listen, I'm sure we can do this internally, but you need to make absolutely certain that they finish this on time. We can't let the launch date slip for anything.
Understood. The team will just have to put in the extra hours.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Randall.
Good morning, Dave. I'm afraid we've got a bit of a situation here.
What do you mean, situation?
The IT team has uncovered evidence that we're under some sort of targeted attack. Whoever's behind this is after credentials using some very credible social engineering. It looks like a number of our employees were sent emails that appeared to come from the help desk telling them to renew their passwords.
Damn. All right, how badly were we hit?
Well, not that badly at all, actually. Our web gateway detected and blocked the malicious URLs. So, we're safe for now.
Okay, great. So everything's fine. Man, you almost gave me a heart attack.
I said we're safe for now. I think we should look at how third parties access our internal systems. See if that same email went out to any of them and they were compromised, then so would we.
All right, so you guys did great, but you're right. If somebody wants to get in, they're gonna. Where are our weak points?
Well, we can try segmenting the network.
Okay, but I'm guessing that's not 100% attack proof.
Nothing's 100%. I mean, our weak point is still movable data, USB sticks, CDs, that kind of thing. Data has to go from one place to another.
Okay, so that's a long-term project. What else do we have?
Well, I would suggest extending a two-factor authentication to cover those same contractors.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just wondering if we can afford to spend that much money, you know, particularly with the launch and everything.
Well, if you don't want to spend any money at all, we can use our internal Active Directory to enforce stricter access policies.
All right, so we have 3 options right before us now, saying which should we do. I believe we have been paying attention. So do we segment the network and that would cost us 3 trend microcoins? Do we extend two-factor authentications to our third party? Do we use internal Active Directory to enforce strict access policy? So kindly use your mobile phones to make that choice. All right, so we have option 1, we have 2 persons. Option 2, we have 2 persons. Option 3, we have 2 persons. So for those of us that don't know what the options are, I'm still going to share this again. So option 1 says segment the network. Option 2 say two-factor authentication for third parties. And option 3 say use internal Active Directory to enforce strict access policy. So those are the options. Make use of your mobile phone. The link to join this poll is currently on the chat board, so kindly make use of that. Okay, so I like people here. Nobody wants to actually spend money yet. So I think we're going with the one that requires less spending. Okay, so I'm going to go with that option because of our time. So majority of us are saying we should use internal Active Directory to enforce strict access policy. So that's what we're going to go with. So let's see what the outcome.
We're maxed out on the InfoSec budget for this quarter already, and we spent according to your plan, so you're just going to have to do the best of what you have.
Okay, consider it done. There's one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm worried about our data security in general. I strongly suggest we start encrypting our intellectual property as well. This could be industrial espionage.
Okay, it has to be the right choice. Data security is important, but I don't have an unlimited budget. I need to be sure that our investment is addressing the real risk.
We have two options before us. So kindly use your phone. Don't mind the option 3 that is attached to it. So just go with option 1, option 2, or option 3. So what do we select? Given the fact that we don't have enough budget, ensuring that the first option say ensuring we fully compliant with all regulatory requirements. We say encrypt all intellectual properties with option 2. So let me show you what we get in here. All right, so 6 persons are saying we should just encrypt every of our intellectual property. Some persons are saying let's just go with the compliance requirements and we'll be okay. I think we're all touch based on that. So because of our time, I believe I'll just work with this 10 persons input. So we're going to be going with encrypt all intellectual properties. But that, mind you, that's going to cost us 2 trend microcoins. Yeah. I believe that's the majority verdict. So we're just going to go with that.
Damn, you're right. It's got to be done. Encrypt it all. Just remember that my budget isn't unlimited, and after this, the pot is getting empty.
Thanks, boss. I'm sure it'll be money well spent. I hate to bring it up considering the budget and all.
What else?
Well, I think we should invest in some breach detection technology. Remember that deep discovery POC we did last year? It's a new approach to security, and with this targeted attack is a new challenge. Failing that, we can have a look at our existing technology, see what else is out there.
A technology refresh?
Exactly. Get some RFIs out there, make sure we have the best of breed firewalls, anti-malware, intrusion prevention, the whole 9 yards.
All right, so yeah, again, we are still with these options in front of us now. So what are we going to do? All right, so we asked the question earlier: people, process, or technology, and now the security manager is making some suggestions. So what do we go by? Invest in breach detection technology, carry out an audit of existing security technologies. The security manager is responsible for the controls and monitoring with the current tools. So what are we going by? So use your mobile phone to just make that, or whichever means you're using. So these are what we have currently: option 1, option 2, and option 3. So for those of us that don't know what the options are, let me read that aloud. So we have majority saying we should invest in breach detection technology. All right, and we're still having people say we should second saying we should carry out audit on existing security technology. And some persons say the security manager is responsible for controls and monitoring with current tools. All right, so let me just share with us what our current verdict is, and that's option 1. So a lot of us are going with option 1, but mind you, we don't have enough money yet. I asked you some of those effort that ensures security, and we actually said people, process, and technology, and the last one was money. And money is a limited resources. So we're still going to go with that, since that's what we have majority of. We have 8 selecting for us to go with invest in breach detection tools. And so that's what we're going to do: breach detection technology.
All right, get the breach detection stuff, but get it operational quickly. We don't want any of our competitors sniffing around our network.
Got it. I'll get on it right now. Keep you posted.
Exactly. So this is how it should work. Julian, how many journalists we already have confirmed?
It's going to be a great event. We did a call out this morning, and as far as I know, only Phil from CB4 cancelled. That's a 95% turnout.
And CB4, it's not even our demographic anyway, so. It's a shame, though. He'll miss the app test drive.
Test what?
Oh, I told you about the journalists we have coming to pre-test the app. Just a beta version. Nothing to worry about. High-profile bloggers, tech and lifestyle magazines.
Why didn't I know about this?
Well, you were copied in on the thread.
You CC'd me? This is a really critical matter, this event. The code isn't frozen yet. It hasn't even been fully tested by our own QA guys, and you want to give it to the press? Are you crazy?
I'm sorry, but we thought you were up to speed with this and had no objections. It's a marketing thing. We have to show them something.
Vanessa, listen, I know that you think security is an afterthought, something we can just bolt on when the app is functionally complete, but it's not. Now, I'm not a marketing expert, but I do know that giving something that may be vulnerable to a tech-savvy journalist is inviting disaster.
Well, canceling the press conference is actually making the disaster a certainty. There has to be a middle way.
Okay, we need a plan. This is a game-changing app. Coupled with the Hylar glasses, it's going to revolutionize the industry. But without a proper launch, it might not even take off.
All right, yet again, we are faced with another decision to make, yeah? So it's left to us to make that decision. So do we give the press the access to the app with limited functionalities? Do we make the journalists wait to the app is launched, to the launch of the app rather? Do we invite them to test the app as in a controlled environment? So what decisions are we going by? Please kindly consult your mobile phones or whichever medium you're using to make that poll, and let's get the poll coming in real quick. All right, so we have majority going with option 3, yeah? Option 2, option 1, option 3. So for those of us that don't know what the options are, I'll still share this with us. So give them access to the app with limited functionality, make the journalists wait to the app, to the launch of the app, invite them to test the app in a controlled environment. So which are we going with? So majority are saying we should go with option 3. All right, so going with option 3 right about now to save us our time. So we invite them to test the app in a controlled environment. So I'd say the option 1 is too much work. All right, so let's just go with option 3.
All right. We can invite them in to pre-test it.
I knew you could be reasoned with.
But only on the devices we provide and on our premises.
It'll do fine. Can you arrange it for next week?
No problem.
Great.
Thank you very much for watching our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll now leave you in the hands of our capable team. It's really great that we let them come here. We're going to get some great coverage out of this. They love it.
Yeah, you know, it's really Vanessa's call, but I'm just not sure if it was the right thing to do.
No worries. We rock.
Hello?
Ah, hello, Mary. How are you?
Hi.
How did you enjoy the event? Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Stevens, this is Mary.
Mary Collins.
SkyTech Magazine.
Pleased to meet you. The app looks really great. Can I get one of your devices for real-world testing?
Dave?
You know, it's really nice to meet you, but I'm sorry, it's just not possible.
Why not? You want me to write a review, don't you? Well, a proper review means that I test it outside your controlled environment. Does the app actually only work inside your canteen?
Of course not.
So can I take it outside?
So what do you think?
So it's left to us now to make that decision. Now the journalists are telling us that they want to take the app out. So kindly just let me erase that. All right, so we only have option 1 and 2. So what do you do? Do we tell the journalists that you will look into the further into the possibility? They're sorry, but it's high security project and you can't go out of the company. So which is it for you? So let's keep making our decision. Kindly consult your phone. All right, so I like the fact that some of us are very, very security conscious. So majority of us are saying we should not actually take this out. All right, so we're not going to take it out. So we are sorry, but it's an high security project and you cannot go out of the company. So let's just go with that, yeah? So we're going with that.
Mary. Can I call you Mary? What you're seeing today is a prototype. When we have the beta program up and running, you'll be the first to know. Julian will take care of that, but until then, nothing leaves the office.
Are you sure?
We have the security of our customers and our partners to consider. It's not all about just the PR. It's about the product. You're not taking us outside. Security matters.
You can test the full functionality of the app whilst you're here. Write all you want about it. I'm sure you're going to love it. Stay as long as you need.
Okay, thanks.
Well played. Really well played.
Am I doing
That's right. Just bought yourself a coffee.
Awesome.
Right, come on, let's go and show you the rest of the office.
You know, I just caught the edge of that thing right there, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Gotta go check the phone calls, boys. Be right back. Guys, just give me 1 second, all right? Hello?
Hi, great to hear from you. Finally.
Yeah, I was in a meeting. What's happening?
We're facing a small crisis. We're working on it, and so far I'm pretty sure it's all just a bluff.
Yeah, this blog's claiming to have access to our network, to our crown jewels. It needs thorough investigation. What's your comms plan?
Of course. Well, from a marketing standpoint, at this moment, we can either prepare a reactive statement or...
Or say nothing, right?
Exactly. No comment till we know what's going on, which is basically never a good idea.
All right, well, listen, we can't leave it without a comment because the rumor mill would eat us alive.
Absolutely. We need to get a reactive statement together saying that we treat seriously every claim of this nature and that we are currently carrying out internal investigation to see if there's any substance to it. But I'll need some solid facts from you. Can you give me any guidance when you'll have some detail for me?
Yeah, that's actually my next call. I'll keep you in the loop. Sorry to be brief, but I gotta go.
Of course.
Tell me, what's going on? Did somebody actually steal our data?
No, there's no chance that happened. All our bases are covered. That stuff on Pastebin definitely didn't come from us, and there's been no sign of improper access.
What if someone internal just spoke to the press?
Even if anybody did, definitely wasn't any of my team.
Well, I never said that.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, we could run a quick data movement check. It won't take long, and it should give us some useful information.
Sounds reasonable, but will the quick scan be enough?
Well, we can try an external forensics team.
It's an unwelcome and unexpected expense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if we do that, we're definitely going to have to reschedule the app launch. But wouldn't it be better to be safe than sorry?
I just can't believe we can put in this position through hearsay. Damn.
Well, maybe it won't have to come to that. I can get the team to check the logs from the breach detection system. We didn't get any alerts relating to the repository code, but still.
You know, sometimes I'm glad you like to spend all that money on software, you know?
I thought I'd never hear that.
Well, you may never hear it again.
All right, so we're supposed to make this decision, yeah, but we're going to take a pause on this. We are currently out of time, so I'm having the next poll for you. So that poll, please kindly let me know what your decision is on that poll before we go. If I know if I'm going to continue or we're going to just take a break and call it a day. All right, so let me share what we have on that poll for those of us that are not yet. So we are out of time. Should we stop or we should continue? So we have 23 persons here, so kindly let us know what your decision is. Okay. All right, so we have 7 says we should continue. I don't know if the others are in line with that. All right, so if that's the case, I guess we can just continue then. So option 1, 2, or 3. So let me just share you the same tab for you to know. So now don't change the schedule, but run a data movement check. So note there's a news out there that there's been a breach in regards to Fugu. So do we change the schedule but run a data movement check, engage an external forensic investigator, have the security team check the breach detection system logs? So what is our verdict on that? So option 1, 2, or 3. All right, so we're having a lot of persons say we should have the security team check the breach detection system logs since we actually paid for that, yeah? So I like the way we are actually thinking, because we have actually paid for a technology here, which is the breach detection technology, which cost us 2 trend microcoins. So you see, we're already thinking like business owners and should I say business managers, yeah. So since we have spent money on on breach detection tool, then why not we check it out? Let's see if it's a money well spent. All right, so we're gonna go back to what we have here, and we're gonna have this. Let me show you what we have currently. So we have the option 3. All right, so we have majority of us saying we should just go with the breach detection tool. All right, so let's just share the start. Let's just have this. So that's what we're going with.
Randall, yeah, check the deep discovery logs and let me know if anything pops up, would you?
Sure thing, boss. Anything else?
No, I think we're just fine.
Randall?
Yes, hey, I know it's early, but I just wanted to call and tell you that there was no evidence of theft of the source code of the app.
So it was a bluff. Good job.
Wait, that's not all. What we did discover was a targeted attack in its final stages.
Pardon me for that. I guess I have a lagging network here, or probably I've been involved in a breach myself. I don't know. So, but I believe we actually made the right decision there. So
attack in its final stages. They were after millions of our customer data records. And they were getting exfiltrated off of the servers.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, we were able to stop that. See, based on the deep discovery information, we managed to secure the data and make sure their access to our servers was terminated. They were after the customer records all along, and they almost fooled us.
Okay, so we're good.
We're as good as we're ever gonna be.
All right. Good job, Brando. Really good job. All right, I'll be at the office in an hour.
All right, see you then.
You doing everything right?
Yeah, just unpaid parking tickets.
Ooh. Can I help you? Congratulations. You just saved your company from a major data breach. Well played.
All right, so please a round of applause for ourselves. I believe if I tell you the funniest part of this thing is that out of every time I've run this simulation with people, this is actually the first time I get to this point whereby everyone is we actually made the right decisions. Yeah. So I've seen situations whereby the police actually came in to arrest the CIO because of the breach. All right. So this goes to show that to some extent we have understand some of these decision-making processes that is involved. Yeah, it's a well done to everyone. That's actually quite impressive. Please, a round of applause for yourself, please. All right, so we're going to be taking in questions right about now, but we have very, very few minutes left. So I believe we're going to be taking in this question. So, but this is wonderful because I've not actually gotten to this point before. Yeah, most times people just make different decisions and just end up feeling it, and we not actually get it. This is my first. I won't lie to you. This is my first time I've actually seen this point that there was not actually any breach and everyone was well secured. All right, so thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this. brief, should I say long, whichever way. Thank you very much for staying tuned. So thank you very much. I'm going to give the mic over to Ifunaya. Ifunaya, thank you very much. So after this, we'll probably just take some questions. Yeah.
Yes, thank you everyone for staying with us till the end of this session. I enjoyed this and I am sure you did as well. Um,
All right. So thank you very much, Ifunaya. So I'm going to be sending something through that our particular chat board we've been making use of. So if you have any questions, kindly signify by raising up your hand so we can take your questions. All right. So if you have other questions, any inputs, please kindly signify by raising up your hand. You're a business and you want to ask something. Right. So okay. So someone dropped something on the chat board. Okay. All right. So we're going to address this. I believe some of this question you're asking, that's for Toy. We can address that on our DOH group chat. All right. So we can give you a better answer. So this is more tailored towards SME. Yeah. So I don't know if you have any of our speakers here. So if I think there's a question on Slido you would like to read out to us.
so yes, we have a question from somebody that says, I work from home and I have a small digital business. Please, I need help in fortifying my security online because lately I've had all manner of phishing emails, SMS, WhatsApp chat, direct calls. I keep getting notification that I'm being tracked. I use PC and phone a lot for work and test. How can I ensure my safety? I also just subscribe for NordVPN. So would you be
Hey.
taking that question?
No. I have my distinguished speaker still on the call, so I don't know if Tulu is going to be helping us answer this question. So you can, Tulu, are you still with us? So we can read the question out again. So, Ifunaya, can you kindly read that question again, so we can just get a better picture of what the person's asking?
Okay, so he has a small business and he works from home and he wants to understand how he can fortify his security online because he keeps getting phishing emails and SMS and WhatsApp chat. And he's worried that he keeps being tracked. So he also just subscribed to NordVPN, I guess, to prevent being tracked. So he just wants to understand how to ensure his safety.
All right, so I believe our speakers have been able to touch based on some of the very simple security best practices. Yeah, so probably we watch out for the kind of links we click, some of the sites we open, and some of the things we actually just do in our business organization. The thing is that phishing emails, SMS, WhatsApp messages, all those direct calls will keep coming, given the fact that there are some businesses or some establishment that have probably released our information out to the public. So it's just left for us to ensure that we are actually taking this, we are having this awareness so that once these things come to us, we'll be able to like address them. So what I will ensure for safety is just to be more aware, be anticipatory of some of these things. You know what a phishing email is, you know what a submission is, which is for the SMS, and you know what the WhatsApp chat is. So once you see these things, you don't click on them. So VPNs per se is just for you to proxify our internet connections to another, should I say, using a different proxy. All right, so it doesn't necessarily ensure safety per se, but to some extent it keeps us anonymous on the internet. So that's just my few inputs to that, Ifuna.
Yes, thank you very much. I believe that. And other questions related to mentorship, getting if yeah, will be answered in our DOH
So
communication.
if Naya, please kindly drop the link to the group chat where elders can come and ask those questions, or Joshua, please kindly drop that too as well, so we can have that. So I believe we have a question from Abubakar. Abubakar, do you have a question for us before we call it a day? Okay. Um, So just give me a minute. So since we don't have any questions there, so kindly please reference your mobile devices for us. We're just going to be taking a quick review about this event. All right. So please kindly let me do this. All right. So this is what we're starting with. All right. Okay. So please kindly look through your mobile phones for you to tell us what your favorite part of these section is, so that we can know how best to optimize some of our activities to best suit you, our participants. So kindly just make your post via the link we shared earlier that we used to play the simulation, so we can get your own review about this. So please uh, kindly poll, kindly add your input to the poll, please, so we can get your own take about the event, and we'll know how best to tailor it for next time. All right. Okay. The inputs are now coming in. All right. So we have one input. So this is just going to remain very anonymous. So we'll know how best to tailor our section next time. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so we just have only 4 participants participating in these, so please we need more input. All right, so someone said all the sections are awesome. Really appreciate you for that, Toyib. And also, please, okay, after that, we're just gonna go into the next question. So kindly, so this question is important to us. So kindly rate the event, please. So kindly rate our event. Wow, thank you very much. We have a lot of 5 stars. That's really thoughtful of you guys. All right, so we have a lot of 5 stars. Yeah, so thank you very much. That goes to show that we are actually putting this where we actually put in the effort. So thank you very, very much for this. So this is just our own feedback for us to know how best to actually do this better. So we really do appreciate your efforts for staying tuned to this time. All right, so thank you very much. So if now if I have the what you have, thank you very much, Toy, for that. I really do appreciate your one more comment. So thank you very much, everyone. If now, over to you, please. Or am I the one that has to do it? Okay. Let me just do it. Yeah. So this is just a special vote of thanks to everyone that has stayed this long. I know we've gone past our actual time, which was supposed to be 1 p.m., but we really still stood to this time. And many thanks to our speakers for actually staying to this time, and for coming back again, because earlier this was supposed to be a physical event, but due to some unforeseen circumstance and nature not being on our side, it couldn't happen. But our speakers are still here despite that hiccup. Really do appreciate you for that, and to all our participants, and to all our participants, to all our SMEs here. I hope you've been able to get a thing or two on how to best secure your businesses. And for those of you us that might feel this is overcomplicated, I want you to just focus more on the little bits of details here. All right, because our businesses are going to grow eventually. It's not that it's going to remain stagnant at that point. We are going to definitely employ more people. We are going to definitely expand technologically wise. So some of this information is going to come in handy as time goes on. But for the little ones you've been able to get, save your password change, building a culture, please try as much as possible for you to imbibe those things. They will really come in handy. So really thank you very much, everyone, for staying this long, and really appreciate you. So do enjoy the rest of your day. All right, bye for now. Bye for now.
Bye.
Sorry, Mr. Oluwatobi. I'm going to say something.
Okay, Jeremiah, please go ahead.
First, sincere appreciation for putting this together. I stumbled on the link. I don't know how or where. I stumbled on it. Sincerely. I don't know the clips that was played. Is it like a movie? Can you refer us to the movie?
Okay, all right. So I'm just, oh, sorry, I think I saw your message. So I'm just going to drop the link on the chat board for you to be able to access. It's more of a simulation by Trend Micros, one of our very own sponsors. So that can just help you. I'm going to drop the link right now on the chat board. It's called the targeted attack.trendmicro.com. So that's what you do.
Nice, 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 nice. Sorry, another random question. I made sure everybody's like done because this is my first time. I cannot badge into, I don't know how you guys operate basically. I don't know. Is this like a community or what exactly?
All right. So CYSED is a non-governmental organization, a youth-led organization that we focus on advancing the cybersecurity education through innovative ways. Yeah. So we also have our flagship initiative, which is Diary of Hackers, which is the cybersecurity community. So one of the very largest in Africa. So you can as well join that. I believe the link is on the what do we call it? It's on the chat boards there, so you can actually see that.
Sorry, I'm sure the link is not on the chat box, or I cannot see it, or maybe I joined.
Ifunaya has dropped it again, so I believe you can actually reference that.
Okay, thank you, Ifunaya. Wow, I have to fill the long form. Okay.
No, it's not a long one. It's just for us to be able to take account of who and who is joining our community, so we ensure that there are no malicious persons coming into the community. We have to take security serious. All right, so just do that. It's just in a few forms, and you'll be done. So thank you very much for those questions. I don't know if you have any before we call it a day.
For now, no. I believe once I'm in this community, I think everything will be done right.
All right.
Yeah, like in the community, I can ask for that question and know how things have been done right.
Definitely you can. So we look forward to you joining the community.
Yeah, in like 10 seconds, I'll be there.
All right. So thank you very much. So do enjoy the rest of your day and have a lovely weekend ahead.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.